Hey Soda, we just need to do a bag and a talent check.
Um,
Okay. What do you need me to do?
Just open your bags.
Do you want me to like take all the band stuff and put it in my bank, basically?
Yes, please.
Got it. If there isn't room, it's not going to be too big of a deal, right?
I can hold on to it for you if you want.
Ooh, okay. Hold on.
so they're not allowing any paraphernalia. Okay, get
What?
that shit out of here.
Oh my god.
You have to make room for about 3 trade windows of water too.
Oh my god.
Just mail yourself everything and then turn on and return it back.
I actually
That's
don't
right.
have space for that. Like for
It's
the
like the
water.
easiest.
Shit. Literally don't even have rune cloth bandages for this tournament. I haven't done 0 prep.
Just so confident. Don't even try. Like,
Yeah,
I get it.
exactly. That's what it is. Fucking gonna buy rune cloth and make this card.
I actually have some on me if you want it.
Nah, it's cool. I'm already at action. I'm just buying a bunch of shit now.
This will be the same as before too. After your duels, just come back to this area, stay off to the side while they're dueling up ahead. You guys did awesome last time, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Did you see my bags, Archivist?
DQT's got it.
Yeah, you're good.
Alright. I think there's like a couple lips in there, but, or not lips, but, yeah, lips, but I just don't have the inventory. Alright, just wish for me if you need anything.
What would you ask of death?
I have 81. Maybe that's probably enough.
I'm not messing around as a druid, dude. I'm a dampener.
Maybe I get more actually.
Yeah, I would get more.
I'm
I would.
gonna need some.
I would sit at 120.
I gave Chance like 60. I was being nice.
Imagine prepping 2 minutes after we're going live.
Hey,
Look, I'm not
dab on
prepping.
haters.
so much rhythm, grace, and debonair for one man, y'all. And then he had the nerve to twiddle his left toe, but through his knee, got the feeling in his head, y'all. Oh, come on, baby. Won't you cry yourself, hear me? It's a hurt sound, baby. And he likes to jam. Moving up and down across the land.
with you. We're jamming, jamming, and I hope you like jamming too. And the rules ain't no vow, we can do it anyhow. I and I will see you through. 'Cause every day we pay the price, we're the living sacrifice. Jamming till the jam is through. We're jamming. To think that jamming was a thing of the past. We're jamming. And I hope this jam is gonna last. No bullet can stop us now, we need to beg, no we won't bow. Neither can be bought nor sold. We all defend the right, judge our children must unite. Oh, life is worth much more than gold. We're jamming, 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 and we're jamming in the name of the Lord. We're jamming, 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 look out, we're jamming right straight from your sing. Holy Mount Zion, Holy Mount Zion, just seated in Mount Zion. It rules all creation. Yeah, we're jamming. Pop Chihuahua war, we're jamming. See, I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, 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 and jam down, hope you're jamming too. Jano's a matter of pride, the truth again is high, to keep you satisfied. True love I know exists, is the love I can't resist, so jam by my side. We're jamming, 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 jamming. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, 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 we're jamming. Hope you like jamming too.
Yeah, I'm just absolutely erratic. And I'm even more excited to introduce you guys to our co-caster today. Somebody that I'm sure you guys have heard cast many, many times before. He's casted BlizzCon. He was at BlizzCon actually just a couple of weeks ago. Phenomenal guy, phenomenal talent, and our friend from across the pond, Healing Stat. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing very well. I'm super excited for this. Like, when you look at those brackets that are on the screen right now, there's literally not a single easy duel on either side. So you can tell the next 3 weeks are going to be incredible, and I just can't wait to get into the duels.
Heck yeah, dude. I'm right there with you. It's going to be a really, really fun day of duels, and we'll go ahead and get started in just a little bit. If you guys were curious in the chat right now, we have a full list of all of our matchups today here for you guys. Everyone in the first half of Group 1 will be doing everyone else. So as you can see, we'll be starting off with J-Law versus Zane. J-Law will also duel Valcor down the line. Everybody in Group 1 is going to be dueling everybody else. And today we've set it up for you guys so you can see all of the matchups. And we'll be keeping track of the score on a matchup by matchup basis. So we'll have recaps for you guys today as well so you can see how every single dueler did against everybody else. So should be very, very fun, very, very exciting. And we've got some cool stuff to go over with you guys today as well. Some build comparisons, talent comparisons, a lot of theory crafting today too. So it should be really, really fun. I'm very, very excited for it. And yeah, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started as we hop over to the gameplay here. And as I get summoned over to the dueling location, we'll go ahead and get started. So I guess Healing Stat. You competed in the CDL qualifiers, right?
Yes. I think I featured on the YouTube video where I got one deeped by the one and only Sea-Doo. So I'm pretty excited today as well because our warrior that's playing today, J-Law, actually also has the Hand of Ragnaros now, right? Which he didn't have during qualifiers, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. He got the Hand of Rag recently.
It's going to be pretty big to see. I'm really curious to see how that warrior versus mage matchup's going to go. So one of the big differences between qualifiers and the regular season is that warriors can now use FAPs and stuff like that in that specific matchup, right?
Yes, they can use free action potions against mages as well as resto pots. Any potion now is allowed to be used by warriors against mages. It was our first matchup specific rule change that we added in the CDL rules. So yeah, it's, you know, a matchup that was always in favor of mages could now really go either way.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really fun. J-Law's definitely going to be someone I'm looking forward to watching, and he's actually going to be in our first duel here. We're going to have the Shaman, Exane, who's one of the people that caught a lot of guys off guard in the qualifier rounds. I don't think many people were really tracking him on their radar, and he did a really, really good job, almost getting the top Shaman spot. And now he's going to be going against J-Law, and this is going to be a super explosive matchup.
Absolutely, and we'll see how this matchup goes. As you said, J-Law rocking the Hand of Ragnaros, newly acquired and fresh. As you can see, donning it on his awesome Kodo mount. He's got the Pauldrons of Might as well. Don't think he had those in the qualifiers either, but now this guy is absolutely stacked. As you go over his gear real quick, he's got the Helm of Wrath, got the Onyxia Tooth Pendant, Pauldrons of Might, absolutely stacked, Savage Gladiator Chain, and of course, that Sulfurous Hand of Ragnaros. So he's ready to go. And Exane, as you said, healing stats, somebody that kind of came out of the woodwork. Not many people knew who he was, but just exploded in those qualifiers.
Yeah, we had a good mix in the Shaman bracket. We had 2 enhancements and 2 elementals qualify. So it's pretty interesting to see that both specs seem somewhat viable, at least, depending on how they played it and their gear setups. But Exane was certainly someone alongside Fizz who did impress me during the elemental side of that. We can see J-Law's just building up his buff right now in a practice duel, and we should be ready to get started with the first duel here of the CDL regular season.
Here we go, the first duel of the Classic Duelers League season. In the chat, let's go, boys. Warrior versus Shaman, recklessness versus the elements, just power versus power. We'll see who's able to get started here and get started off with a really, really good run. Hit the ground running, and we can see J-Law, he's got his battle shout ready to go. The duelers are positioning themselves opposite the duel flag, and here comes the charge into an immediate hamstring by J-Law. He's got 100 rage already, ready to dish out the pain, but here comes Zane trying to pop the elemental mastery. He can't. He does get the grenade, though, and J-Law now in a bit of trouble, taking so much damage, but the big mortal strike to the execute. J-Law takes Zane down in this first duel.
That was really nice from Exane too. He actually duked the pummel from J-Law, but J-Law just had such a crushing amount of damage. And when you look at the cooldowns that Exane committed to that, he used the Elemental Mastery, he used his Berserking. Those are big cooldowns. And the way the duels work is that you can't wait for those cooldowns in the next duel. We're going to get straight back into it. And that's really good for J-Law. He's looking good for a 2-0 start the day.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 format designed specifically to judge players not just on their abilities when they have all cooldowns up, but also when they have to improvise and they don't have their reliable abilities up for them as well. So again, Zane, as you said, healing stat, expending some very precious cooldowns there. We'll see if he's able to get some more distance against J-Law, possibly kite a little bit more. He's got to be careful of the Tauren. They have so many interrupts at their disposal between Intimidating Shout, War Stomp, grenades. He's got to do what he can to get some separation. And of course, J-Law with that Hand of Ragnaros, rocking the Mace specialization stun probability as well as these 2 duelers kick it off once again. Duel number 2, and there's the Mace spec we just talked about. Huge damage coming out from J-Law in midst of that stun. Zane trying to recover as best he can. Going in with the Chain Lightning. He's not going for the safety plane. A huge crit coming out from Exane there onto J-Law, into the Fire Nova Totem. And now Zane, he's got J-Law exactly where he wants him, but J-Law with a big execute, it's not enough. Zane takes the second duel, 1-1, J-Law Zane.
Yeah, and that was huge. It was the net trinket, I think, from Zane that just kind of shut down J-Law. He was completely out the fight for about 10 seconds. He still almost blew him up due to that mace stun, as you said. But end of the day, huge chain lightning, and they're going to get the kill. But that was a really good, lively duel to set off the day.
Absolutely. As we go over to J-Law's screen real quick, check out some of the damage on these abilities. Dark Iron Bomb used by Zane there. Lightning Shield as well. Almost the majority of his damage coming from Lightning Shield. And of course that 1.9k Chain Lightning crit, which almost took J-Law out single-handedly there.
It must be so terrifying playing Warrior into Shaman. It's just like there's a chance you lose half your health in any ability that's on you.
Yeah, it's insane, man. Like a single Mortal Strike crit can just change the entire tides of the duel. And we saw it there in that first duel, but in the second duel, Zane able to bounce back. But here we go, duel number 2 of the day. I Dared You, the Shadow Priest versus Valkor, the Hemo Rogue. And I know Healing Stat, you play a lot of Priest.
Yeah, so this matchup is actually, there's a lot of, I would say it's kind of like your typical classic matchup. There's a lot of RNG, and I Dared You actually plays a unique build in terms of his gear. So you can see he's actually running 2 freezing bands for roots on the Rogue. He also runs the full Dread Mist set, which has a chance at 6 items in the set. to cause your opponent to flee or fear, which doesn't share DL with your other fear. So he has a really, really interesting build. He's basically relying on one of those things proccing so that the rogue is crowd controlled on his opener.
Zap opens up onto I Dared You. Valcor waiting for that power word shield to fall off. Very,
Oh.
very patient here. If he waits 25 seconds or longer, he does forfeit his uncontested opener grace period as dictated by the rules. See if he'll open up here momentarily.
Yeah, so I think the sap broke early, so I Dared You is actually able to reapply his shield. And normally what the rogue wants to do in this matchup is sap off the shield, but because of that early sap breaking, now he had to wait for his DR, so he's going to forfeit that opener. Let's see if he gets better RNG this time around, but it looks like the shield's still there for the opener. Cheap shot comes through, he gets the kidney shot as well, so this is a pretty good start. Probably going to look for a blind off of this. If he can get the full blind reset, he's already got the guy low. We do see the fear coming out there from the proc, but with that full blind, he should be able to sap it and go for a reset.
Like that's exactly what he's about to do. There's the sap, and here comes the full reset by Valcor, who, one of the more explosive names coming out of the CDL qualifiers, became pretty notorious for his Gnomish Death Ray Cold Blood Abyss plays. We'll see if he charges up the Gnomish Death Ray in this duel. He isn't an undead, however, so he's not going to be able to break out fears whenever he can. He does pop the Shadow Reflector Trinket, though, and goes for the huge Cold Blood Abyss onto I Dared You, immediately popping the Power Word Shield to defend himself however he can. Valcor now low on energy, low on HP, not so much. He pops the Whipper Tuber immediately as I Dared You goes for the Flash Shield, gets cheap shotted out of the stealth, and here comes Valcor in pursuit now. I Dared You trying to get whatever distance he can. Huge damage coming out from Valcor, and I Dared You with the clutch Power Word Shield, but there's the kidney, and there's the end of the duel coming out from Valcor. No, it's not. Huge Psychic Scream. He's able to sprint back in, gets the improved gouge off, and goes for the Eviscerate. Oh, a second breath of life there for I Dared You, but just not quite enough as Valcor able to break out of the fear early and end I Dared You there.
Yeah, that was really nice adaptation from Valcor. The duel, again, like, he went for the blind into the sap, but the sap broke incredibly early, meaning I Dared You got a shield off before the opener, which is basically what the priest needs to survive since there's no trinkets in this phase. But regardless, he was able to kind of find the kill, find those big eviscerates. I think he might have used both his vanishes, though. I think he potentially prepped in that first duel, which might make the second duel harder. But, you know, in that situation, you just want to make sure you secure the win. Let's see how duel 2 goes between these two.
Definitely, definitely. And sorry, guys, turn up the game sound there just a little bit. Let us know if things sound good on your guys' end as we prepare to get underway in this second duel between Valcor and I Dared You on day one of the Classic Duelers League regular season. And here we go. Vintage Rogue, Vintage Sap to open up the duel. Waiting for that Power Word Shield to disappear is Valcor. He did take the first match off of I Dared You, who was another surprise during the qualifiers, went 13-0 and tied for first place on that Priest. We'll see if he's able to secure himself some wins here in advance of the regular season as the kidney shot goes out onto I Dared You. Valcor popping the huge cooldowns, gets the Barov's Trinket off as well, trying to tear away those lightning shield procs, and he just explodes.
Oh, that was huge from Valcor. So Valcor used all his pets here, which means that the inner fire from the priest falls off very fast. He also, the shrink ray, I believe, reflected from I Dared You, so that's a bit unfortunate for him there. He didn't have the vanish, I do believe. He used both in the first duel, so he just kind of went for the all-in with the pets. And I mean, again, that's just great adaptation. It didn't go to the game plan for Valcor, but he was able to improvise and take a 2-0, which is huge because we know how good Shadow Priests have been in the earlier rounds of this tournament.
Absolutely. Shadow Priest dominating the qualifiers. 13-1 and 12-2 was the score of every single Shadow Priest that advanced to the regular season. So very, very strong class, especially this early on in Phase 1, where not too much counter gears available to players. As we move on to our third matchup of the day, Druid versus Hunter, Soda Poppin versus Bean.
Good first duel. 60 seconds. GG, boys.
Alright, good duels.
Improv, Warlock Mage, a very, very classic matchup. We'll see if Ven's able to stay within the duel line in this duel, but it should be really, really exciting. Warlock Mage healing stat. What do you think? Who has the advantage here?
So I definitely give the advantage to Warlock. I think one of the biggest things is on quite the contrary to going for the flee strategy, the Mage, basically the way you take jewels off of the Warlock is you just have to dive in on top of them, blow all your cooldowns. You know, you want to be ice blocking out of those death calls, ice blocking fears, getting as much damage from your Cone of Cold and these sorts of abilities, because there's so much pushback, and there's obviously the Fell Hunter with the interrupt. So hard casting is going to be a difficult task. Venruki, of course, he won the first tournament, which he ran at level 30, I believe. Right, Tips? So he is definitely going to be here to play, and he's got to go for that all-in. He needs to win this first duel.
Absolutely, as we see Improv popping a Gnomish cloaking device at the start of the duel, trying to get a Soulfire off in the beginning. It's not going to work for him, however, as Venruku is able to blink it instantaneously. An Arcane Explosion immediately ice blocks off the dots. And Venruki now looking to turn the tides here in this duel. Improv starting off aggressive, but here's Venruki just chasing him down, unleashing the zoo, unleashing the dragons, the Battle Chicken as well. Venruki going full Targaryen all over Improv, who's now drained of mana. We'll see if he starts live tapping here pretty soon. Venruki burning his second ice block there. So Cold Snap has been expended. The fear, does it go off? It does not. Improv in a lot of trouble here, almost completely out of mana. Pops the Immolate. Meanwhile, Venruki doesn't care. He's just going full melee, full battle mage here with these arcane explosions, and Improv goes down.
Yeah, really, really nice duel from Venruki there. I think most of these mages, they say that 1-1 against Warlock is their goal, and you can see why. They have to use both their Ice Blocks on the Death Coil and the Fear. He uses all of his pets as well. That was the Arcanite Dragonling, the Battle Chicken, just for the pushback to try get that one duel. So that's a huge win there for Venruki. The second duel, though, is going to be very tough. He doesn't have any Ice Blocks remaining, and of course, Improv can just kind of reset. He's going to have pets available. The second duel should be a lot easier for him.
As we head back in here, take a quick look at Improv's gear before these duelers square up once again. Is going Soul, so he does have that extra 30% damage reduction. And I'm going to go ahead and reload UI here. Not exactly sure what's going on, but the tooltips are missing. Let's see if we can bring them back up here real quick. Here we go. All right, there we go. So he's got the double Underworld band for the extra shadow. This time, going for the Ice Reflector Trinket. Seeing the strength of Venruki in his Deep Frost build, as well as a Barov's Peasant Collar. We'll see how this one goes as the duelers square up. Dual flag does go down 10 yards away from one another, maintaining that 20-yard distance required by the rules. Watch here as the duel gets...
All right. So this is the duel where Improv really wants to win. You can see Venruki immediately blinking on top of Improv. He's going aggressive. The pet's actually AFK. You can see the Fell Hunter's not doing anything right now. Improv needs to make sure that thing starts attacking here as he does get the fear. This is exactly what Improv wants. He just spam fears Venruki, lets the dots do the work, let the pets do the work. So he's already taking a ton of damage. Doesn't have access to any ice blocks here in the second duel.
Absolutely not. And you can see right there, the dots are just ticking. Doesn't matter how much shadow resistance he has. A late shadow reflector pop there by Venruki. It just wasn't enough. And he does go down. That's a 1-1 Venruki versus Improv. You gotta think that Venruki's pretty happy about that. Mage v Warlock, one of the toughest matchups for mages, even without a Spellstone. Spellstones are currently banned in this tournament. Warlocks are just so strong against their caster counterparts. So going 1-1, not too bad, you would think.
Yeah, I definitely think that's exactly what Venruki wants in the duel. It really does come down to that first duel. For the Warlock, if you can survive, you know, you get good Death Coil timings, get good fears, play through those ice blocks, that's how you win. But as you said, he just ran out of mana too fast in that first duel. So Venruki, I think he'll be very happy with that. In the regular season, there's no real free wins. Every single one of these players has thoroughly earned their spot. So a 1-1 for any mage against Warlock is going to be challenging. So I think Ven will definitely take that since he is competing against other people on the same class as him.
Absolutely. And that was our first showing by each of these competitors. All competitors in the first half of Group 1 have gone just now. So we'll do a quick update here on the match results. In case you guys are just tuning in, we saw J-Law and Zane go 1-1 in an explosive matchup there between two of the most bursty classes in the game. Valcor took 2 wins off of I Dared You, which was a little bit of an upset in my eyes personally. I Dared You, again, coming in as tied for first place of all the Shadow Priests in the tournament, including the likes of guys like Toes and Serendipities and whatnot. So very interesting to see Valcor take those duels. Soda Pop and splitting with Bean 1-1, and Venruki splitting with Improv 1-1 as well. So we'll see how this next round goes as we have J-Law getting squared away here to duel against Valcor, Warrior versus Rogue. Very classic matchup that I'm sure a lot of Warriors and Rogues love very much. It could really go either way, this one. I mean, Warriors, so bursty, but so are Rogues. So if Warriors are able to survive the initial burst, we could potentially see a victory here for J-Law, but Valcor, man, he's somebody that surprised us so many times this tournament. You really don't know how this one's going to go.
Yeah, we need to make sure that powered shield falls off of Valcor. He has one up right now, but I don't think it's a big deal. He's probably going to wait for this opener here. J-Law, obviously, there's a lot of things that can go really well for him. And I think the powered shield might still be on Valcor. But anyways, we'll play the draw and see what happens. They're both of them going to be committing their pets. If J-Law can get any kind of mace stun or anything like that, it would be fantastic. But this kidney shot is landing so early. Full bleed's already applied. Breaks out of it with the heartbeat. Nice fear coming in from J-Law. That's actually a really good fear. There's no bleeds on him. He gets a full reset with the first aid. That is a huge play from the Warrior.
Absolutely. And you see just his auto attack absolutely chunking Valcor right before the blind, so the auto attack does get batched in. And Valkor's in a little bit of trouble here. Immediate demoralizing shout breaks Valkor out of stealth. Great play there by J-Law, who gets a huge mortal strike. Immediate vanish into a cheap shot. So J-Law's in a little bit of trouble here, but if he's able to survive this, he is not. Oh, huge damage coming out from Valkor there at the very end, but if J-Law was able to survive that, he could have turned the tides there, maybe with a lucky Mace specialization proc, but you saw the power of that Hand of Ragnaros. A single auto attack can chunk Valkor by 30% HP of crit. So he's got to be very, very careful. However, Valkor, the master of burst damage in this CDL thus far, able to just completely eviscerate J-Law despite all of that heavy plate armor.
Yeah, and I do want to quickly clarify, like I misspoke, it wasn't a powered shield. He actually used the Gnomish harm prevention belt, which we haven't seen too many people running, and he actually preemptively applied that before his opener, so really nice from Valkor. Honestly, Valkor has impressed me so much. Like, going 2-0 against Priest is absolutely incredible. This guy really has been popping off in this tournament, and that's one of the great things about the CDL, right? Like, you've got players that you're not necessarily going to have encountered too much on stream, on Twitch, on YouTube, wherever it may be, and Valkor has been one of those guys that he's literally 3-0 in this tournament against some of the best players and best classes. It's a fantastic start for him.
Absolutely, and we'll see if this next duel will also be a fantastic start for him as he swaps over to the AGM, using his Gnomish prevention device in the first round, hopping over to the more powerful, more reliable AGM in this second matchup, who's gonna have a lot more tank ability to deal these huge mortal strike hits coming out from J-Law, who immediately swaps over to Sword and Board, recognizes that he has been taking a lot of damage, gets the intercept off. Unfortunate kiting there by Valkor, not able to dead zone properly, so he has to pop the AGM immediately. And J-Law now gets blinded up. Prep has been used. You can just see the harass coming out from the Dragonlings here onto Valkor. Vanishes back up, but again, the auto attack gets batched, and Valkor drops to 16% HP. Immediate Horned Viking helmet by J-Law to finish off the round. A clutch Horned Viking helm play by J-Law to secure the reset, secure the execute, and secure the victory.
Yeah, really nice from J-Law. And again, I think for the Warriors, we know that Warriors aren't, I mean, I guess you're kind of familiar with this tips. They're not one of the strongest dueling classes in Classic, so every single win counts. He's got 2 1-1s now, one against the Shaman Xane and one against Valkor, who has been really, really good in this tournament. So J-Law with that Hand of Ragnaros, definitely doing some work here, representing his Warrior class.
Absolutely, and you know, you talked about it earlier, Healing Stat. That is a new upgrade, a fresh Hand of Rag for J-Law. And it just shows you that in Classic WoW, there's just so many factors that come into play when it comes to dueling. It's not just class by class matchups. There's gear involved, there's preparation, there's consumables. So many factors come into play when deciding who's going to come out on top. And obviously, as with all tournaments, there's the nerves factor as well. Talk to me a little bit about that, Healing Stat. As someone that's competed in tournaments before, how big a deal are nerves when it comes to performing in a tournament?
I think so. It's a weird one, right? Because there's kind of 2 factors. There's the nerves, but there's also the adrenaline you get from having so much on the line. You know, we've got such a big prize pool for this tournament. It really incentivizes people to put on their best. I think one of the biggest ways that nerves can hit you is when your game plan gets thrown off, and that happens a lot in Classic, right? You have to have not just a plan A to win, you have to have a plan B, a plan C, depending on resists and whatnot. So that's one of the big things the competitors are dealing with. I think I Dared You versus Valkor was a good example of that. Valkor in the first duel, he didn't have the game plan work perfectly. The saps were breaking, but he was able to improvise and overcome those nerves. And that's something that we've seen a couple of times in these duels. Now, this next one should be really, really good. We can have Xane going against I Dared You. Both these guys dropping duels the first time around, but this is another one of those matchups that can be very explosive and can really go either way.
Absolutely. Shaman versus Priest, just so much damage coming out from both of these classes. Also so much sustain. Shaman's being a hybrid, able to heal back up and recover. One of the few classes that can deal with those pesky Priest debuffs as a result. But we'll see what I Dared You is able to do here. He started off a little bit slow today, going 0-2 with Valkor earlier today. A matchup that at least he should have gotten one of those, I think. I think most Priests will be able to get some, but he starts off this one with a little bit of luck going in his favor with a nice blackout proc. Start things off for I Dared You as he gets his distance, and Shadow Word Pain currently taking on Zane. We'll check out the debuff settings on our LVUI in just a second here to see why they're not displaying right now. But Zane pops the Shadow Reflector Trinket, trying to get some separation, some space before he pops the Elemental Mastery into a huge Chain Lightning, burning the Power Word Shield, and making I Dared You vulnerable here. as the zoo gets unleashed by I Dared You into the immediate fear, and now I Dared You able to recover here. No flame shock on him, no dots on him whatsoever. Gets a couple of bandage ticks off, able to preserve that mana, not having to heal there into a mind blast, but it gets resisted. Nade does come out as well as Fire Nova Totem. Not sure if that ended up hitting I Dared You though. The very, very rim of the player. And here we see Zane healing back up with a Blackout proc. A second one, great clutch Blackout proc, going in the favor of I Dared You as he gets the second fear. It won't be a full duration fear, however, as the Tremor Totem does go off. But there's the Mind Flay, there's the damage, and there's the victory for I Dared You.
Yeah, that was a really close duel between the two sides. Ultimately, the Shadow Priest just having more mana at the very end to secure that one with the Mind Blast. Very nicely done by I Dared You. But I got to give a shout out to Xane. He used his Shadow Reflector at a point, which reflected the Curse of Weakness from the Shadow Priest, which meant he was doing 20% less healing that entire duel. I think that was one of the big reasons why that duel became so close. So really nice play from Xane, but I think this matchup is slightly favored toward the Shadow Priest, and I Dared You at the very end, he had no mana, but he did have just about enough to finish it off.
Here, and guys, bear with us here as we try to get these debuffs sorted out. See why they're not displaying on the heads of our competitors. It could be, go ahead and check here real quick. Settings. I've got to say, a lot of preparation went into this tournament. One of the most difficult things to prepare is the UI setup. Unfortunately, we don't have a spectator mode in Classic WoW. Blizzard, if you're watching, it'd be very, very nice if you implemented something like that. But no changes, right? No changes.
Yeah, no changes. And I mean, one of the other things in terms of preparation, like obviously, everyone in chat, I hope appreciates all the work that you guys put in terms of UI. You know, you guys have literally flown out, basically created a makeshift studio for this. It's like fantastic. It really does give the kind of community classic feel of we make the best of what we've got. But these players also, they've had to put in a lot of time and effort. One of the things that I think, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, the Arcanite Dragonling was unbanned, right, in the rule set for this stage of the season.
Yes.
So it's interesting to see which players have actually spent the gold, because it is a lot of gold to get that item. Some of them are still running the Mithril Dragonling instead, which obviously is the cheaper version. And I think it does make quite a big difference, the players that have actually farmed that item.
Absolutely. The Flame Breath, the Flame Buffet debuff. I mean, so much damage difference coming out from the Arcanite Dragonling. It is a little bit less tanky, though, I feel, or maybe like equivalently as tanky, so it can go down pretty quick. But speaking of which, I Dared You is going down pretty quick as Zane charges up that Lightning Bolt. Huge damage? No, not so much, but he does get the Earth Shock off at an inopportune time as the Blackout proc comes in big for I Dared You one more time. He gets the fear as well, takes out the grounding totem, charges up the Mind Blast, charges up the damage, and Zane popping a second grounding totem there, gets the Frost Shock off as well. So both these competitors running a little bit low. I Dared You forced to wand the grounding totem down, buys Zane a little bit of time as he charges up the Chain Lightning, interrupts it for an Earth Shock task to immediate Chain Lightning. Big damage coming out from Zane. Doesn't have the mana though to follow it up with an Earth Shock, but a Frost Shock goes off into an auto attack. Is it enough? It is.
It will be 55 mana was the amount that Zane had at the end of that duel, but he does secure it with that final Chain Lightning. And again, such a close duel between the two sides. There was a couple of times there where I Dared You actually let his Shadow of Pain fall off, and we know that Shadow of Pain is literally the most powerful debuff in the game.
first duel. GG, boys.
Good duels.
So after this, we will be completely through the second round, and we can really kind of compare. Everyone will have had 4 duels to their name. And Bean, one of the things he did a really good job. I actually think this was his best duel in the qualifiers, was against Warlock. He played so well, just using the entrapment from his snare trap to deny the Warlock from getting to him, and then just going for that mana burn strategy. I think most people would probably say that the Warlock is still favored in this matchup. We saw Snuts versus Bruce Wayne, for example. Even when Bruce Wayne made that incredible play reflecting the death coil, it still went in favor of Snuts there. So let's see how Bean can do it. He gets to reflect on the corruption immediately using his shadow reflector. It looks like he's got a pretty good damage opener here as he's starting lively, but that death coil is going to look to reverse it.
Absolutely, and Bean, just notorious hunter player, one of the best we've seen in this tournament. Very versatile and adaptable, and is able to play in just so many different styles as he blocks up Improv and goes for the kill on the Voidwalker. We'll see if he's able to get us at 22% HP. Is it gonna go down? It does. No, it's sacrificed at the very end by Improv. Regardless of whether or not the Warlock is CC'd, so long as the Voidwalker is not CC'd, you can still cast that Demonic Sacrifice. So Improv able to take advantage of the Warlock shield there, but forced to Feldom into a second Voidwalker. That's a 15-minute cooldown. We'll see if it pays off for him in this matchup. He is low on mana, but so is Bean. So Improv, he's able to survive, life tap a couple of times. He might be back in this as his dots are just ticking and whittling Bean down here, who pops a Whipperood. Trying to recover, and again, Bean so versatile, able to play in so many different ways. He can hit you right up in your face. He can kite you to the edge of the duel line. He can do anything. And you see him here just taking advantage of the distance. Improv so far away. Bean just taking advantage of that dueling area, maximizing it. And he's able to recover so much as he's pretty much back, topped off on mana, 62% HP. Improv doing the same, but not able to recover quite as much as Bean was. So advantage goes to Bean there on that reset.
Yeah, really, really nice there from Bean. He actually made it so that Improv outranged their own Fell Hunter, so it despawned. He had to summon a new one, meaning that Bean was able to get a full reset there, and I think he's going to win the duel off of that. Really nice play. He's able to get the scatter into the trap. Improv has no mana, very little health. Bean is also quite low in this duel, but it looks like he's going to go for yet another kill. Because of that reset, he has the mana to kill off this Voidwalker, and then all he has to do is put the lovable Snickers onto Improv. The sacrifice does manage to come through at the very end there from Improv, which is an ideal situation from him, but Bean is going to use the Arena Grandmaster. The Death Coil comes back up though. It's going to break through that Grandmaster Trinket. Is it going to be enough? 10% health on Bean, but Improv looks like he's going to fall. He does end up falling there, and that was a huge win once again for Bean. He doesn't actually go down. I thought he died there, but it actually just paused the duel for a second. Now he falls. Bean able to pick it up, and that was through the Feldom, as you said, Tips. So that's not going to be available for the second duel, which is probably the biggest cooldown between these two sides.
Absolutely, and you know, the Frost Trap there resisted at the very end by Improv, but it wasn't enough to help him bounce back there. Being just, man, I mean, every time I watch this guy play, I learn something new. Just the way he was able to use improved wing clip in melee range against the Warlock, and then kite all the way back to the edge of the duel line. He can play at 10 yards, he can play at 20 yards, he can play at 50 yards. He's just an absolutely stellar hunter, and in a matchup that most people would say goes to the Warlock pretty convincingly, he's able to take it. 1-0 so far for Bean.
Yeah, really, really nice. And I think also, I was super surprised when that Death Coil came back up. It is a short cooldown. I believe it's 2 minutes for the Warlock, so just using that early. One of the mistakes that I do think Improv made in this duel is he kind of got baited to the very side of the arena, and this is something that you were calling it out during the duel. He does such a good job of using the area to the maximum, and because Improv was caught on one side of the duel, it meant that Bean could go to the polar opposite side and actually despawn that Fell Hunter, whereas if Improv just kind of stands near the duel flag, he's never going to get caught in a situation where his Voidwalker goes too far away from him. So he's got to watch that going into the second duel. His pet's actually on passive right now. We don't see the Voidwalker engaging in combat. He needs to make sure that that's chasing Bean. Maybe he's just going for an early sacrifice though, trying to deny the kill on that pet.
You can see right away just a huge amount of damage, and the roots by the freezing trap. Bean, amazing spec play by Bean there, and Improv getting so unlucky with the RNG, gets double rooted in the trap, and there's the Death Coil. It does land, it does go off, but it could be just a little bit too late there for Improv. He gets immediately scattered into a trap. It goes off, not resisted this time for Improv. Bean recovering a couple of ticks there, trying to survive this big Curse of Agony and Corruption damage. But it looks like it's not going to matter. Improv does get the sack off, but he's absolutely drained on mana. Has to life tap 10% of his HP right there just to get something, but it's not going to be enough, and he knows that he's doing his best to chase Bean down. He was able to recover with a couple of Band-Aid ticks, and it ends the duel right there. Nice arcane shot to finish it off. Bean taking it 2-0 against a Soul Link Warlock. The first time we've seen a 2-0 against a Soul Link Warlock in this entire tournament. Congratulations there to Bean, who picks up, again, 2 points against a matchup that a lot of people thought could go split.
Yeah, that is a huge 2-0 there for Bean. As soon as he wins that first duel through the Feldom, that is fantastic for him. You can see how much easier that second duel was. He can deal with it much easier. As soon as the sacrifice comes through on the Voidwalker, he can get infinite resets because he doesn't have to worry about that little pet chasing him down, putting him back in combat. So that's a huge 2-0 there for Bean. And I mean, again, you're competing against your class. The goal here is to get top 2 in your class to eliminate the other 2 members. And not many hunters, I think, will go 2-0 against Warlock over the next couple of weekends. So huge win there for Bean.
Absolutely. And guys, we have seen your feedback in the chat right now. We're going to take a quick break here as we figure out the debuff situation on the nameplates. Bear with us, guys. We tested things out before we started, and it was working. So we're just going to take a quick break here to see what's going on. We apologize for this inconvenience, and we will be right back. All the scores for you guys are available here. And if you guys want to see the full scores and rankings of CDL Season 1 thus far, you guys can check us out at cdl.gg, where not only will you see the standings of the current regular season, but you'll also have access to the entirety of the tournament from start to finish. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly go through this, guys, if you guys want to see how everyone did in the qualifiers as well. cdl.gg. We'll be right back.
Hello? Stream, can you hear me? Do I sound okay? We're also testing mics right now too. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Testing this. Yeah, you can hear me? Okay, cool. Hello? Hello, everyone. It is I, 9-time Gladiator NMP. During this commercial break, there will be a little bit of entertainment done by me. You guys having fun right now? Can I get a whoo in the chat if you're having fun? Because you know I am. This is awesome. All of my favorite WoW players fighting each other to the death. You know? I'm very surprised that the likes of Bean and Soda Poppin' even got wins. Personally, I know them. They're not very good. I am shocked. I cannot believe they got a W there. Bean beating a Warlock, that is crazy to me. Are we having fun? Everyone having fun? Woo! Yeah! Alright. Because I'm having fun. Healing Set, are you there?
I'm here, hello.
Are you having fun, sir?
I'm having a lot of fun. These have been some really good duels so far.
It has been great. Your casting is phenomenal, by the way. I would just like to apologize
Thank you. Appreciate
for the sound issues we're having, by the way, everyone. Healing Set, your mic was kind of scuffed at first, but I think it's good now.
Good. Happy to hear it.
Good, good, good. So, Healing Stat, who do you think has performed the best so far?
I gotta say, the person who's impressing me the most right now is Valcor. I think he's been one of these players that You didn't really talk about him too much in the qualifiers. He's been kind of building himself up, and he got the 2-0 off the Shadow Priest, which is probably one of the best results you can ever hope for. We saw the Shadow Priest that qualified, literally all of them got 13 wins, 12 wins out of 14, you know, so taking that 2-0 was huge. And then in the second duel as well against J-Law, very good win at the very start. Interesting strategies as well.
True. Very true. Absolutely, Tips. Absolutely.
Nope.
Okay, just had to fix that real quick. Tips is now unmuted. We are back. All right, Tips. How's it going over there with the technical difficulties?
It's going great. I think we've resolved the issue.
Okay.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
All right.
Just, you know, get those Keck W's ready in the chat just in case we didn't fix it. But
Okay.
I think we should be okay now, and we're ready to go in our second set of duels. But guys, before we do, can we just get some hearts in the chat for NMP? I just want to say, NMP offered to produce this entire event. He didn't ask for anything. He just, you know, he's just an amazing guy, really, really good friend. And he's just done a phenomenal job. I wish you guys could see the studio that he set up here. You know, hopefully onwards and upwards for him, turning this podcaster into something big. We get those NMP productions, you know, fired off.
Thank you, Tips. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. And don't forget to follow him at Nick Polam for more classic WoW and, you know, podcasty content. Him and Milena go live every morning.
If you like spousal abuse, that's the place to go. Milena abuses I don't do. All right, back to it. Let's go, Tips.
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. All right, back to the gameplay here. I'm sorry. We've got our second set of duels, or I'm sorry, our first set of duels in the third round today of group number 1. J-Law versus I Dare You. And before we get started here, I know we've got a Shadow Priest Master with us right now, so might as well break down I Dare You's spec here. Healing stat, I pulled a spec for us up here on the stream. What is he rocking right now? Is this the typical Shadow spec?
Yeah, this is pretty standard. There's a couple of talent points you might change here and there, like the improved Mind Blast. You can put a couple in that instead of Shadow Focus sometimes. But one of the interesting things about I Dared You build is that in the Discipline side, he's running 3 in Inner Fire, improved Inner Fire, which is going to give him more armor against some of his more difficult matchups, such as the Rogue, such as the Warrior, and he's running that over Mental Agility, which is a more mana-efficient talent. So maybe if he'd been running Mental Agility against the Shaman, it might have helped him to clinch the win against Xane, but obviously here against J-Law, the improved armor should help out against the Warriors all-in.
We'll see if it is able to help him out there. J-Law going the traditional arms build there, nothing really notable. However, I will say that he has gone into improved mace specialization over what you would typically see sword specialization or axe specialization on the Horde side. And that's obviously because he's newly acquired, I should say, that legendary Hand of Ragnaros. Mace specialization gives you a 6% chance to stun your target for 3 seconds, which can be really good in certain duels against classes like Rogues, for example. It's great. Druids, it can be great. But against Priests, it's a little bit unfortunate because you almost always would rather have sword spec, which gives you the percentage chance to get an extra attack. And the reason why this is so important, namely against priests, mages as well, classes that utilize shields, is because while shields are up, while absorb effects are up, you don't generate rage when you hit through absorb. So as a warrior, having an extra sword spec proc to generate rage for you, or having an extra proc to just help break down the shield that much quicker, so valuable. But it's still phase 1 right now, and Hand of Rag is so strong.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that just passive overall damage is able to help J-Law there as we get started and get underway here in this next duel. J-Law versus I Dare You, Warrior versus Priest. Here we go.
Yeah, and just one thing, I'm being communicated to by the administration committee right now. They just wanted to provide an update about the Bean versus Improv series. So apparently, in the first duel of that series, Bean actually used the Arena Grandmaster and the Furball Medicine Pouch, which is against the rules to use 2 absorb or healing items in the same duel. So the committee decided that that's actually going to be a 1-1. The Warlock will take that first duel. It was super close, so obviously the use of both items is the reason that it swung slightly in favor of the Hunter there. They just wanted to make sure that we clarified that on stream, so it's actually going to be a 1-1 between those 2 classes, but now we are going into the J-Law versus the I Dared You series, which this is one of those series where if J-Law takes the 1-1, he's going to be incredibly happy with that. And I know J-Law has some really, really good strategies here. We already saw him using the mind control helmet. If he can get a reset with that against the Shadow Priest, that's kind of the condition he can look for to win this duel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a 1-1 against a Shadow Priest as a warrior is incredible. Honestly, you take it where you can get it. Especially a Shadow Priest like I Dared You, who again was so successful in the qualifiers and clearly knows what's up as he equips that Gnome's Shrink Ray and that Netomatic Projector. Literally just a nightmare combination for a warrior. He's trying to do what he can to burst down those shields. Really hard to burst down a shield when you're minus 250 attack power. So we'll see if J-Law gets lucky and the trinket backfires, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, the trinket backfires has a number of effects. It can even make I Dared You take more damage. And bear in mind, against Valkor, that actually happened. It did backfire on him. This is a good opener here for J-Law. He's going to be very happy with this. He gets the nade early. Mortal Strike. Huge damage coming in. Fortunate there, the blackout stun for I Dared You. But he's had to leave Shadow Form already. He's lost that damage reduction from that. He gets pummeled now. He misses the nade. This is fantastic for J-Law, but the Shrink Ray does connect. He does have enough damage, though, and that is another huge win there for J-Law on the warrior. Absolutely pumping I Dared You for the first victory.
Did the Shrink Ray backfire?
No, it didn't backfire. It hit perfectly. It was just a little bit late, I think.
Despite the minus 250 attack power, again, that Hand of Rag coming in so close for J-Law. And can I say, can we get some poggers in the chat? We fixed those debuff slots, boys. You're going to see all the debuffs above the nameplates from here on out. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. All right. Sorry, I was really excited to see that they worked. I was scared they wouldn't.
Yeah, I've worked enough productions, and when you fix something like that, I know it gets very, very exciting. This has been huge as well. Like, I'm looking at the stream on my other monitor right now. It looks so clean on the other stream. So obviously, this isn't a spectator UI or anything from Blizzard, right? This is purely set up with LVUI and all that from you guys. So it's really awesome to see like how great you can make it just from kind of using these community tools.
Much appreciated, Healing Stat. Just the work of a bunch of sweaty nerds. Spending time mastering the art of LVUI to get something. Yeah. And shout out to Antonica, who helped me out this morning, just set everything back up. I forgot to send my add-on folder from my my PC over to Nick's before I came here. So we had to reset things up from scratch. So apologize for the little quirks here and there. And again, shout out to Antonica for helping me set up earlier this morning. As we prepare to get underway in this second duel of this best of two, Warrior versus Priest. J-Law taking the nice underdog victory in the first match, taking one match off of I Dared You, who again has started off a little bit slow in this tournament. We'll see if he's able to recover here as he gets the immediate blackout proc onto J-Law. It's exactly what he wants to see. Psychic Stream is broken by the Berserker Rage, however, and J-Law begins pumping. Is it gonna be enough? We're not sure. He's very, very low on Rage right now, and the Power Word Shield is on. He gets the War Stomp, but no Rage follow-up to break that shield. Gets the grenade as well. He's done absolutely no damage. Meanwhile, I Dared You just pumping into J-Law. Gets the nade, gets the Mind Flake, gets the blackout proc, and gets the win.
Yeah, that was a very clean win there from I Dared You. Again, he left Shadow Form quite early to go for those heals, but obviously just having the damage advantage. And we all know Warrior is definitely disadvantaged in this matchup. J-Law in the first game, he can go for that all-in with the Recklessness, with all of his cooldowns, and he was able to find the 1-1. So again, for J-Law, this is a very good result. He'll definitely take that. I Dared You, he's had a couple of rough ones here. He's currently 2 wins and 4 losses, I believe, if my math is correct on that. But now the matchups are going to start getting easier for him. He's got Druid coming up, which is normally a pretty good matchup for Priest. He's got Mage coming up, which is a pretty good matchup. So he's probably going to start tallying some points on the board for himself soon.
See how he does. We'll keep track of him and follow him for the rest of the tournament. Once again, guys, for those that have missed the start of the tournament today, just so you guys are aware and caught up, got a full scoreboard here for you guys today, able to get all the matches up and all the match scores up for you guys as well. It's being updated live by our boys at Stream Elements. Shout out to Tara Buck. Thank you so much for hooking us up here today. Shout out to Stream Elements. When are you going to send me the sponsorship contract, dog? Hook it up, hook it up. All right, anyways, here we go. Valkor versus Zane, Rogue versus Shaman. An interesting matchup, not necessarily because of the classes, but both of these individuals were, again, relatively unknown in the community and have done a stellar job thus far, Healing.
Yeah, they have. And one thing that I got to ask Tips, I think the trinkets come out maybe next week, right? Because of the honor system came out this week. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Or do we
yes.
not know? So this could be the last week where this matchup really goes in favor of the rogue. Right now, it's the case that the shamans, because the trinket isn't out, it's very difficult for them to kind of survive the one shot. And that's the same for the shadow priest as well, that if the rogue has good RNG in this matchup, manages to get the shaman or the priest low, he can go for the blind, the sap, and then he can go for the restuns. If he's able to find the kill that way, then obviously there's not too much Zane can do. But if Zane's able to just kind of play it, survive some of those stuns, maybe get a little bit of RNG resist on the stuns, then that can suddenly swing the entire duel in favor of him.
We'll see if he's able to do that as he gets the kidney shot off the back of the cheap shot into the immediate blind. So huge damage coming out from Valkor as he takes his time during this blind to clear up any and all of the totems. He leaves the Grace of Air up, however. Blood Fury is popped by Valkor, so he's got to be careful. He can't really bandage here as it'll just be completely reduced. Gets the sap off instead. Does he go back to reset and eat? No, it looks like he's going for the opener. Gets the cheap shot. Zane, being that troll, not having that extra stun resistance, eats the kidney as well. That's just so much stun coming out from Valkor. Does he go for the gnomish death ray? He does not. He goes for the nade instead into the cold blood abyss, and it's over. Oh my god, how many times have you guys experienced just going 100 to 0 by a rogue with no ability to do anything?
Well, sadly, since the honor system came out, I've seen all kinds of rogues like just sitting in enemy cities, just one-deking people. And Valkor, I think he's actually been with one of the other competitors, Vex. They've just been sitting in Ironforge, killing Alliance. So doing Thrall's work for us over in the Alliance cities. Very, very nice. And he's clearly that practice is coming in clutch here as he's able to get a very quick victory, the cold-blooded killer against Zane.
Definitely. And you know, Valkor, as you said, just ganking Alliance all day, every day. He's got a new Brutality Blade that he's donning in the tournament today. I believe in the qualifiers he had the double Dalrens, but it looks like he was able to get a couple of upgrades from Molten Core. Has upgraded to the 6-piece Night Slayer set, has the Bloodfang headpiece. Unfortunately, not the Bloodfang leggings, however, as he still needs to get a little bit geared up, but he has stacked up some gear as we head into the second matchup. We'll see if Zane's able to resist some of these stuns and be able to counter.
Yeah, I really felt for Zane in that duel. That was a rough one. If he does get some RNG though, if he's able to resist one of those kidney shots or something like that, you could suddenly see it changing. He's starting the duel in Ghost Wolf. He has to do this because obviously the rogue gets the opener. It's the best way that he can kind of increase his armor a little bit and reduce that incoming damage. But if it goes anything like the first duel, it's going to be so rough. We see the cheap shot. There's the full kidney shot. No resistance thus far. They kill off the searing totem. Actually, he isn't able to kill off the totems just yet. The poison cleansing has to be killed before the blind connects. Otherwise, of course, that blind would simply be cleansed off by the shaman. Because he didn't get that kill though, the AGM actually comes through. Zane hasn't got the reset just yet. The Vanish comes through. There's the cheap shot. It's just massive damage tips as once again the rogue obliterates the shaman.
Dude, absolutely insane damage coming up.
All right, you guys are up.
Good luck.
Good luck, boys.
Good duels, guys.
Good old man.
Chance, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to hell and I can't wait.
Yeah. So you're going to be going up against J Law. Let me know if you have any issues with class cooldowns. You're second. The Bean and Van Rooker
What
up
are the
next.
rules on class cooldowns? Like
Uh,
what limit am I allowed to wait for? Would you say 3 minutes or
I'm gonna try for up to 10, but that's
up to
that's where
10?
I'm at. 10
Ooh,
minutes.
motherfucker. Yeah, see, like AGM for example, I can't wait for. I just used it, right?
No.
Yeah, but say no machinette. I think I'm gonna have everything. I don't think I'll have any issues.
Just class cooldowns.
Yeah, no, I'll have everything. There should be no issues. Everything's up in
great.
2 minutes.
Sounds good.
Slightly more, also slightly easier duels coming up later in the day. Like he's still got Warrior to go, for example. He's still got Shaman. Both of those look like pretty reasonable matchups for the Warlock. But in our next duel, this is another very, very exciting one. I really like watching Mage duels against some of these classes where they have to all in. We're gonna have the Mage versus the Hunter here. So Bean going up against Venruki, and I mean, we were talking about how Improv doesn't have the best gear in Little Goblins. Well, Venruki just secured that Mage Blade last week in that guild, so Venruki's gear is suddenly looking a hell of a lot better than it did in the qualifiers, and he's looking to get wins here off of Bean.
Absolutely, and again, just the beauty of Vanilla WoW, just seeing that gear progression happen steadily over the course of the weeks. That's why we decided to space these matchups over the course of weekends. See the players progress and hopefully, limit that extra gear RNG that might be working against them. Venruki with the Mage Blade, and speaking of gear, Bean with the full 8 out of 8 Giant Stalker gear. Just absolutely decked out by the guild, a bunch of idiots. Rest in peace, by the way. No longer with us today, but who is with us is Bean with that Viper Sting strategy into the concussive shot. This is vintage Bean right here. He uses Viper Sting so effectively against these mages. Look how he uses the dual range. Always stays on the perimeter, but makes a mistake. It's a little bit too close there. However, responds with a Goblin Mortar. So despite getting naded, the Goblin Mortar in retaliation was Bean. And look how much damage he's done to Venruki. He's trying to play a little bit more aggressively here. Ice blocks. Looks like he's going to probably try to blink away. No, does he get caught by the Frost Trap? No, it's a freezing trap instead. And now Venruki blinking forward back into Bean. Pops the Evocate. He is dead zoning Bean effectively there, so no damage, no break there coming out from Bean. But it doesn't matter. Has the damage already been done? Venruki, Arcane Explosion, but Bean trying to kite him back into the freezing trap, hoping for a root proc. Does it happen? It does not, but the big Raptor Strike happens, and Bean takes down Venruki. Wow.
Yeah, what a close duel there. And that's Venruki's all in. It's the evocation, it's the ice block. So that's a massive win there for Bean. Really nicely played. And I think one of the highlights there for Bean has to be that Goblin Mortar, right? Like Venruki blinked in, looked for the polymorph on Bean. If he'd landed that polymorph, he would have got the full evocation and the reset he was looking for. But because that Goblin Mortar came through, the polymorph didn't land. Venruki still did a really good job dead zoning Bean for almost that entire duel, but he was just too far behind. Raptor Strikes were enough to secure it. And now Bean has a very easy time, I think, going into the second duel. That's a really good start there for him.
Absolutely, and Bean, just a phenomenal player. He did drop a duel earlier today for a mishap with the rules, but he's bouncing back here in this Mage matchup. One of the toughest matchups, a lot of people would say. Venruki, multi-time dual champion winner, a BlizzCon winner in the past. Great player all around, multi-time, multi-time rank 1. So out of all the competition here today, he certainly is one of the stiffest. We'll see if Bean's able to take the second matchup, or if Ven, in a cold, calm, and collected fashion, is able to bounce back. We'll have to see here, Linkstad.
Yeah, we will. So what we really want to see from Ven is, can he get in early at the start of this one? Actually, that's an improved concussive shot immediately from Bean. So a little bit of luck there means that he can land this nade, and there's not going to be a blink for the nade. So that's more distance Bean can get, but very nice route there coming in onto Bean, meaning that there's no ability for him to kite away. It's actually perfect for Venruki. That route was so effective. The Frost Nova to follow up. This is actually looking really good for Ven here to tie it up. He gets the nade off of that. 24% health. He has a good amount of mana. He's able to find it, but the AGM comes in the nick of time. Is it going to be enough? It doesn't look like it. Bean does end up falling, and Venruki, that was a perfect strategy coming in from him there. He was able to blink in, get on top, get the root down, and secure the victory to tie it up.
I've got to say, that Cone of Cold must have hit for like 1,500. Just absolutely obliterated Bean. Looking
Right,
from like
guys,
40% to
you're
1%
up next.
HP almost.
Come on out. All right, you want to get your rage off me?
Don't forget that you can, if he roots you as an opener, that counts as an opener, so you don't have to sit there.
Yeah, I went over that.
Okay. Good luck. Oh shit.
Good duels, guys.
Maybe he could have gone for a first aid and got a little bit of health back, but I think once the druid's got to that stage where he's, you know, kiting distance, he's got the roots, that's probably a win for the druid either way. So good play there from Soda Poppin, finding that 1-1. But, I mean, these Hand of Ragnaros tips, they are scary as hell.
Absolutely. And a good friend of Soda Poppin sitting right next to us here today, NMP Nick Polam.
Yes.
Nick, how do you feel about Soda Poppin's performance there?
Honestly, I'm surprised he lost. You know I've fought Chance as a warrior myself 1,000 times and never won one. Maybe I'm just bad. I'm not sure. But to be honest, J-Law went out there, you know, got that first dub. You know, once he ran out of the engineering cheats that I like to call them to get out of roots and stuff like that, he was kind of screwed. But it was a really close duel. And honestly, when I dueled J-Law too, I never beat him either. So I don't even know why I'm even here. I'm really bad. Tips, go ahead.
No, expert analysis coming out from NMP, who is our pro commentator here for us. Also our producer, the Steven Spielberg of Austin, as he's known in some neighborhoods. He's done a phenomenal job for us today, set up this amazing studio. Can we get some pogs in the chat for NMP? Follow him on Twitter at NMPLol. I'm sorry, at Nick Polam.
Either one.
Either one. It works.
The other one's a fan account, but
it's
either
fun.
one.
There it is, dude.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Tips.
No worries at all, man. He's close to 130,000 follows on Twitter. If he hits that amount, he's going to dance naked for us on stream, regardless of TOS. So make sure he hits that 130,000 mark.
That'll be on twitch.tv/sodapoppin. That's where that'll be taking place.
Make sure that the Twitch mods heard that in the chat. It's going to be Soda Poppin' stream, so please no Bannerino. Here we go. Next matchup. Warlock versus Rogue. Valcor versus Improv. A really interesting matchup. Typically in favor of the Warlock, but we've seen Valcor just completely defy expectations throughout the course of this tournament. Healing stat, what do you think? Is he going to come out on top here?
I know. I'm not going to bet against Valcor so far today. He's literally, I think he's only dropped one jewel, right? So far, so he's doing really, really good. He gets the cheap shot here in the opener. There's the kidney shot to follow it up. Improv still yet to control his character in this one. Are we going to see a blind reset? There it is. But the Void Walker, of course, does add a little bit of complication here for Valcor. Going for his reset. He's going to go for the Vanish. Does he have the sap to follow up on Improv? That's what he's looking for. It looks like the sap isn't quite going to land because of combat on the pet. Very nice. Means that he gets a couple of ticks of the bandage in here before the second opener from the Rogue.
See what kind of power Valcor comes out here with. You can just see, though, the tankiness of SL Locks compared to all the other competitors Valcor's gone up against. Only taking 18% damage there was Improv, but he's taking a lot more now that he's caught in the kidney shot. It's a full duration kidney into an immediate blind, so prep was expended there. Valcor going all in on this duel, just trying to take one match off of a Warlock if he can. If he's done that, that's plenty for him, and he knows it. Pops the Vanish once again. And the Cannonball Runner as well, distracting Improv and distracting me as well. Immediate improved gouge coming out from Valcor. Improv forced to sacrifice there right away. And Valcor is just Houdini'd his way out of this duel. And is he gonna get the victory? Uses the Rupture instead of the Eviscerate. So interesting combo spender there by Valcor. Going for the more reliable damage instead of the burst. He knows that shield is up and he's got to get rid of it as soon as possible. Hops right back in onto Improv. You're breaking early there. Unfortunate for Improv, who's caught in the improved gouge and who's caught in the kidney. That's a full duration kidney, and that's a full victory for Valcor.
Yeah, really nice from Valcor, but he did use both of his vanishes, both of his blinds, so the preparation expended. That's every single coin from the Rogue. I actually thought Improv was going to live there. He juked the kick, got the fear. Of course, Valcor isn't an undead, so he wasn't able to break out of that one, but I think maybe the Immolate must have crit from Improv and broke that fear early, because if that fear hadn't broken and if Improv had actually managed to get some distance, let his Corruption and Agony do the work, maybe he could have got back into that fight, but it would have been a tough task. Honestly, Valcor committing all his cooldowns to that duel, probably not unreasonable that he would win it, but he's going to have a tough one in the second duel, kind of breaking down the Warlock without access to that preparation.
Absolutely. We'll see if he's able to do it here in this second duel. Man, I just that Cannonball Runner juke. The Cannonball Runner is a trinket that drops from Strat Live from his name Cannon Master or something, I can't remember. But yeah, great trinket. I'm pretty sure it also auto targets whenever you drop it. I'm pretty sure this is how it worked on private servers, which I've never played on, of course, but it auto targets the competitor. So if you're against somebody that drops a Cannonball Runner, you automatically target that cannonball. It becomes very difficult to tab target over. So I'm pretty sure that's how it works in Classic as well. But regardless, great play there by Valcor. Just keep us all on our toes as we watch vigilantly here, awaiting his opener. He goes for the cheap shot. No saps, no waiting. He smells victory and just goes ham onto Improv, already melting him away. 40% HP coming out of the nade. Improv, where's his HP going? Forced to sack immediately, gets the death coil off as well. Into the fear. Is it gonna last this time? It does not. Instant fear break twice in a row for Improv. You know he's angry right now. He does pop the net, however, it doesn't backfire, so he's able to get a second fear coming off of this net into the immediate Shadow Bolt and is that a Soul Drain? Into a Life Drain. Improv trying to farm those shards right now. I'm not sure if it works in duels. Might be coming unprepared to this tournament.
Yeah, he's prepping for the next duel, clearly. A good win there for Improv. And, I mean, Valkor's damage is absolutely ballistic. Like, crazy stuff coming in from him there. Finding almost the kill immediately. But as soon as Improv lands that first spear, it's so difficult. He got the net as well. If the net had reflected, maybe there's a way back into that duel for Valkor. But honestly, SL Warlock always going to win that fight as soon as the Rogue's unable to land the stuns. And very nice tied series there for Valkor.
And if we go back to the scoreboard here real quick, in case you guys missed it, Valkor has been absolutely stomping today, 2-0ing most of his competition, taking 1 match off of J-Law, and now 1 match off of the Soul Link Warlock, so he's in a great position. Soda Poppin as well, 2-0ing the SL Warlock, 1-upping Valkor there, as well as 2-0ing Venruki, going 1-1 with Bean, who was his arch nemesis in the qualifiers, and taking 1 game off of J-Law as well, who I would say has had a phenomenal performance so far today, not going 0-2 to anybody despite being that disadvantaged warrior. He's got that hand of rag, he's ready to go, he's been playing phenomenally today. NMP, so far, what do you think? Who's been performing the best?
Valkor has been doing really well, and honestly, I hate to say it, and Bean's playing pretty well too. I know he's lost a game because he's cheating again, but you know, Bean, he's a really solid hunter. He really is. He's doing quite well, and I'm also surprised that J-Law's getting wins that he you normally wouldn't. But you kind of get to see what happens. People get the gear they want. You know, the longer we wait, the more gear you get, the more you can do. You know, stuff like that. And J-Law, you know, the first time he was in his tournament, he had like a blue sword. Now he has orange weapon. So really great to watch him play too.
Absolutely, and we'll see how he does for the rest of the day today. We might have had a typo or two on the matchup scoreboard. If there was a typo, could you guys let us know in the chat? We'd very much appreciate it so we can get that fixed for you guys as we head into our next duel. Venruki returns center stage, going head-to-head with I Dared You, the Priest, who came out so strong in the qualifiers, but unfortunately has started off a little bit rocky today. We'll see if he's able to recover his score against Venruki, who's also gone up against some of the most difficult counter matches for him today as well. So both of these competitors desperate for a victory here. We'll see how Venruki does against this Shadow Priest who defied all expectations during the qualifier.
Yeah, so this is another one of those duels where the Priest is looking for the Mage is looking for a 1-1 split against the Priest. If he can win this first duel with all his cooldowns, that's kind of the ideal situation. Venruki has been one of the best mages at doing it. Unfortunately, the nade does not connect onto I Dare You at the very start here for Venruki, and this is a lot of damage from the Priest. This is not an ideal start for the Mage here. He wants to potentially go for that reset, uses the Ice Block. There's the counter spell. He's actually going to first aid with this, but he's just so low on health tips. I feel like he's so far behind in this one.
Absolutely, and the improved counterspell, 4-second silence there for Venruki, buying him some time, but just not enough. That Shadow Word Pain just taking his HP down into the silence, forced to use his second block. Really, really tough for Venruki here, as I Dared You is just going super ham, but he's also expended a lot of his magic. Venruki turning the tides here with that Shadow Reflector, forcing I Dared You into defensive position, but he reflects the Frost Bolt, and now Venruki charging up a second one. Will he get it? He does. No, he goes for the Evocate instead. Power Word Shield now ticking down from I Dared You. It's completely gone. He's vulnerable. And here comes the Frost Bolt. Is it going to land? It does. Big damage coming out from Venruki. And here come the wands. Harry Potter versus Voldemort. Expelliarmus. It works for Venruki. I Dared You eviscerated by the power of Gryffindor.
Venruki, you legend in that duel. I mean, I think almost every single mage would have reset that one when he was so low on health, but he recognizes he has to commit to the all-in strategy.
I was like, oh no, the Dark Iron Vault.
With 2% health left. What a close fight between these two, and that is exactly what you want as the mage. He gets the double ice block, he gets the evocation. The second duel can be almost considered a write-off between the two of them, but that's the win he was looking for, and again, fantastically close between the two sides. We've had some brilliant duels here today. Some of these things have been just neck and neck the whole way through.
Absolutely, and just, you know, as we get closer and closer, as more and more competitors get filtered out, as more and more competitors advance and things get tighter, you know, the level of competition continues to accelerate, continues to rise up. We've seen that here today on day one of the Classic Duelers League. Guys, if you did not know, casting side by side with me right now is the legendary Healing Stat. Definitely follow him on Twitter at HealingStat. He's taken the time you know, despite being a big famous BlizzCon caster, to come sit down with us and help us out with the casting today, all the way across the pond in Manchester, right? Hillingstad?
From Reading initially, but I'm actually in Seattle right now, so it's like perfect. Good time zone for me.
Awesome. That's great. So Sleepless in Seattle is Healingstad, helping us cast here today. But yeah, any 3 heads in the chat? All right, forget those 3 heads. Let's get some 5 heads here. Venruki versus I Dared You. Getting ready for that 500 IQ predict play by Venruki. We'll see if I Dared You is able to respond here. Gets polymorphed off at the start of the duel. Second polymorph goes off. No silence, but the blackout prog. Unfavorable there for Venruki, who charges up the Frostbolt. Gets it off. He does. Into the Cone of Cold as well. Powered Shield goes off. A second blackout proc by I Dared You, so he's got a little bit of recovery room here to work with. Gets the fear off, so the Barov peasants running in every which way direction. Silences off on Venruki as well. The Mind Flayed, the damage, the Shadow Word Pain, is it enough? Is Venruki going to be able to recover? No, he is not. Expending his ice blocks in the first, not able to respond to I Dared You there.
Yeah, I gotta say, I Dared You had certainly some pretty reasonable RNG in that duel. The first sheep broke early, he got 2 blackouts, and the nade resisted from Venruki, so certainly some good fortune, but I think either way, the duel wasn't particularly close. I Dared You should always take that second duel, and he will be happy with that, but also for Venruki, I think 1-1 is a good case scenario against the Shadow Priest. We've got some really strong Shadow Priests in the rest of this tournament. We've got Toes, we've got Serendipity, we've got Trickster, so no mage is going to find it easy to get a 2-0 against Priest in the remainder of this bracket, and Venruki, I think he should be settling for that 1-1 and pretty happy with himself.
Absolutely, and you know, Ven not 2-0ing anybody just yet. I see Ven 1-1 rookie in the chat right now. We'll see if he's able to sweep his competition. He's got the Warrior matchup coming up. Might be a little bit difficult for him with the free action potions and J-Law's Ragnaros, but we'll see how it goes for him later on in the tournament today. All in all, against the matchups that he's played, I mean, you don't really expect too much more out of a mage. He's literally played his 4 hardest matchups of the day so far, going into his 4 easiest matchups. So we'll see how he's able to finish off day 1 today. In the meantime, however, we're going to turn it over to Hunter versus Shaman, Bean versus Zane.
Yeah, so Bean's also had a kind of odd start to today. Like, obviously he had to have that map reversed against the Warlock, which isn't ideal for him due to that double trinket use or the double absorb use. But even so, like, he's got wins against Soda Pop, and he's got wins against every single opponent he's played against. He's got at least 1-1. So this is going to be another case of him looking for a 2-0 against the Shaman. He can go for that mech range strategy, try to win on mana, but of course the Shaman does have the poison cleansing totem, so he's going to be able to remove some of those Viper stings. He's getting damage, but Bean is doing such a great job in the early stages of this game of just max ranging and avoiding damage from Zane.
God, just Bean's style of play. It's so good, but it's so frustrating to play against. As the Chain Lightning comes out, huge damage coming out from Zane. Gets the net onto Bean as well, and now with the dead zone, no! The scatter shot comes out into the grenade. Bean able to break out of that net. Clutch plays there by Bean to get out of that immobilization. And now he's right back to where he started at the 35-yard range that he loves so much. Zane popping the nifty stopwatch, trying to close in onto Bean. He's able to, gets the lightning bolt off at well, but the Viper Sting just eating away at his mana. He has none left. Naded up once again, and there's the damage coming out from Bean. Zane just completely out of mana. Bean going in for the auto attack Raptor strikes. He knows he doesn't have to overextend here, and he takes Zane down.
Yeah, really, really nice job from Bean. Actually, for Zane, that almost worked in his favor. The net forced Bean to use his scatter and his nade before he could land the trap, so he actually ended up whiffing the trap in that duel, but regardless, it was just enough of a reset. Bean got the distance, he won the duel on mana, which is of course the win condition for the Hunter, and he'll be pretty happy with that one. I think both these sides used a fair share of their cooldowns. We almost saw Zane get the one shot on Bean using his elemental mastery, but now that that's out the way, I think Bean is looking pretty good to potentially pick up his first 2-0 here.
Absolutely. And looks like we have some trouble on the scoreboard with one of Veen's matchups. If we could get that sorted out, it'd be very, very appreciated. In the meantime, we'll queue up this second duel between these two. Zane swapping from that nifty stopwatch into the 6 demon bag. a trinket that blasts enemies in front of you with the power of wind, fire, and all that kind of thing. Very, very fun trinket to use. It can do a number of different things. It can frostbolt, I mean, it can shadow bolt, cyclone, spawn a fell hunter. So many different things this trinket does. We'll see if the RNG is in Zane's favor here as the duel gets underway here. Zane versus Bean, Shaman versus Hunter, the Elements versus Tarzan. Here we go. Immediate freezing trap onto Zane, who's able to just get out of it, but just barely. The Viper Stings are on him again. So frustrating to deal with Bean's Hunter. He's so good at this max range play. Goblin Mortar does go out into the NS by Zane. Frost Shock as well. He's in melee range. He has him where he wants him. Is he going to go for the big Elemental Mastery play? No, he waits for it, knows the scatter's coming into the trap as well. There's Aspect of the Cheetah, and there's that amazing, amazing recovery trick by Bean, using the server ticks to eat and drink back up. Zane, however, alternating his playbook, trying to kite back. Not sure what he was going for there. He ends up just doing a circle and running back into range of Bean. Does he get the lesser healing wave off? He does, but he's almost and Bean chilling at 95% HP, about a quarter of his mana left. Meanwhile, Zane almost completely here, just forced to heal over and over again. He's at high HP, but he's got no more gas left in that tank. Bean, he can just do this all day, man.
Yeah, I mean, he literally does. That's basically what his tribute runs are. So this is very familiar territory for Bean here. Literally running circles around Zane, and this duel is going to be probably a quite easy win for him. He can style here. He can go for those server tick drinks. You can see him move running with it. But ultimately, I don't think Zane even has enough mana to use the poison cleansing totem. He does manage to get one down, but there's no way he's going to be able to deal 5,000 damage to Bean and win this duel. He is going to end up losing it. And Bean, he'll be happy with that. Clean 2-0 there against the Shaman.
It's so frustrating because you want to see Zane get into a position to get a huge chain lightning off. You want to see that big burst damage. But Bean's just not relenting at all. He's not giving him a single opportunity to fire back in any way. Obviously, great player there by Bean. You can't really blame him for it. But at the same time, just as a WoW player, you love to see those big. Some juicy prize money. But as you can see, the scoreboard here has been updated. And just looking at it right now, seeing as we're at the half-point mark, let's just go ahead and recap here real quick. Starting off in the first matches of the day, J-Law taking one game off of Zane. Valcor 2-0ing I Dared You. Bean and Soda Poppin going 1-1, splitting that matchup. Benruki and Improv going 1-1 as well. And then from there on out, it's been a mixed bag. You've seen Soda Poppin clean house for the majority of his duels. You've seen Valcor do really, really well as well. Healing stat, who would you say has been the dark horse of today so far?
I still think that Valcor has been, but I'm also increasingly starting to say J-Law as well on that Warrior. I don't think Warrior is particularly favored, but you can see he's gone 1-1 in every single duel, which is super impressive on the Warrior. And now, if he's able to find even a single victory against Improv on an SL Warlock, I would say that that's the kind of cream of the crop for the Warrior. If he can find wins here, he's going to be doing so well in this competition. If you can get 7 wins or so on the board, I think that's going to be tough for other Warriors to catch up with. Valcor, obviously on the Rogue, has been doing fantastic as well. He's got 2-0s against I Dared You against the Shadow Priest matchup, and has dropped barely any maps. I think he's dropped 2 maps so far, 1 to SL Warlock and 1 to Warrior. So not too bad for him. Those are the 2 players to watch. I think in the danger zone right now, We got to see how Venruki does in his remaining duels. Zane as well. Both of these guys are absolutely fantastic players. If they can find some strong performances here in their next couple of duels, I think they're going to start catching the rest of the field. Specifically Venruki, I think he's got some of his easier duels coming up now, and that duel against Zane is definitely going to be one I'm watching.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting. Shaman versus Mage, one of the most dynamic matchups in the game. And speaking of dynamic, J-Law, that legendary Hand of Ragnaros. You've been rooting him on all day healing stat. I know NMP has been rooting him on all day as well.
Woo!
Woo! What do you think, Nick? Warlock versus Warrior. What happens here?
I mean, if he has wreck up, he might be able to take one, but I don't know if he can get through double sack. Maybe. If any warrior can do it, he can do it. Can I do it? No. Tips, can you do it? Absolutely not. So we'll see if J-Law can do it.
Feels bad, man. All right, we'll see. He does have the Netomatic Projector and the Shadow Reflector trinket available, so if he misses the Reflect, he can net the Death Coil too. Not sure how much that's going to help him, considering the dot damage, but he has the Horned Viking Helm equipped as well, so getting ready for a cheeky play here from J-Law. We'll see how he's able to do against Improv, who, despite doing pretty well in the qualifiers, had a little bit of a slow start today. We'll see if he's able to get a quick matchup. He CCs the
nice.
Voidwalker. Huge play by J-Law, but it breaks early. The Heartbeat Raging Berserker Horned Viking Helm breaks early. Very unfortunate there for J-Law. That can last like up to 30 seconds. It breaks almost instantaneously. He was going for the quick kill, preventing the sack, but the sack does go off there. And now J-Law, after expending Recklessness, is very vulnerable, and he knows it. He's got execute range, though. Does he have the damage to finish it off? Feldom into double sack. He used the Whipperoo Tuber, staying alive. And there, however, is the fear, but it breaks instantaneously with that Berserker Rage. J-Law chasing down Improv, trying to break that shield. Can he break this shield? Hand of Ragnaros coming in clutch. Auto attacks just getting absorbed over and over and over again. But the crit, does he get the victory? J-Law low, but he takes down Improv. Huge execute to finish it off. Hand of Ragnaros just destroying that shield. Nick.
Like I said, Tips, if anyone can do it, J-Law can do it. That was unbelievable. This might be my new favorite warrior. Not even kidding.
I've got to say, he's definitely come into his own over the course of the CDL. Somebody that not many people had heard of, a multi-time gladiator, multi-time rank 1 player from the guild, Hoagie Haven Heroes. A lot of people have slept on him, but ever since his duel with T Muggsy during the mirror matches, I knew this guy could play. The way he toyed with T Muggsy, the way he kited him, dead zoned him during his retaliation. Very, very impressive play. And we've seen J-Law just impress us today. Has not gone 0-2 to a single class so far, despite being arguably the worst dueling class in the game. So we'll see if he's able to take the second matchup off of Improv. He has expended his Recklessness, used his Horned Viking Helm, although it was very useless to him in the previous matchup. But he's out of cooldowns here. So is Improv, though. No Feldom. What do you think, Healing Stat?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be difficult. I still think that Improv is heavily favored in this matchup. Like, let's not forget, this is a warrior against an SL Warlock. Obviously, J-Law, though, I think one of the things that's so impressive about this guy is the preparation he comes in with. Like, that strategy, even when he got bad luck there, it went so well for him. And in the second duel, he is just pumping so much damage. The Feldom comes in from Improv just above execute range. Very important that he does that before the executes start crashing in from J-Law. Now, if J-Law can just get the reconnection, there is no Feldom, as you said, Tips, and Improv is on the run.
Absolutely, and he gets in range of the intercept, but the Gnomish cloaking device, he doesn't have enough rage to demoralizing shouts, so he's got to recover here, but the dots are about to drop off. No, Curse of Agony is applied onto him. He tries to get the food proc off, but not enough time for him, and he does get feared. Cheeky play there by Improv, but now J-Lot out in no man's land. On the total opposite side of the duel, he might actually forfeit this duel if he doesn't get back into range. Doing his best to do so.
He does end up fleeing that one, so we'll have to see what the admins say about that. But I think Improv, it's fair to say, was heavily in control of that duel. He had dots on him. The health was heavily advantaged towards the Warlock, so we'll have to see what the final call is on that. But obviously, unfortunate fleeing from J-Law. Even if he ends up losing this duel, I think he still takes the 1-1 very happily into the SL Warlock, so really, really nicely done by him. And I mean, that first duel, man, like it's just ridiculous. Like he gets the Viking helm, he gets the fear on the pet, gets him into execute range before either of the Feldoms come off. And even in this duel, Improv used his Feldom at about 23%. If he uses it below 20%, then they can shatter through that with executes. So J-Law, just such impressive damage this entire tournament, playing so well on that warrior.
Absolutely, and you know, I've got to say, if it wasn't for that fear, it looked like, I mean, he might have been able to bounce back there. It was difficult to say. Improv did have the dots rolling on him as well. Kind of a 50-50. According to the rules, in a situation like this, it's called into review. It could either constitute a loss for the fleeing player or a reduel, depending on whether or not that player showed good faith in trying to get back to the dueling area as quickly as possible. I mean, to me, it looked like it was just complete RNG. He was just feared in the total opposite direction. So it's difficult to say. We're going to wait for the referees to get back to us and give us their call.
Yeah, and one of the nice things that Improv did in this draw as well, which I see a couple of people in the chat calling out, and you called out during the draw as well, Tips, was that the invisibility cloak, the no-mish invisibility cloak. It was such a nice play. J-Law charged him, and he timed it at the perfect time, meaning that there was no bleeds up on him, and he was able to get that reset. Because if he hadn't made that play, the absorb was down, he had no pet, he probably would have got finished off by J-Law. So Improv, to his credit as well, the guy's under geared compared to some of his competition, and he is making flashy plays as well on that Warlock.
Absolutely. We'll wait patiently here for the ruling as it comes out. Meantime, I want to check out J-Law stream, see how he's doing. I believe it's twitch.tv/JLawTV. Should be streaming right now. See what's going on over there, seeing what trinkets he's swapping to and whatnot as we go over here. Oh, look at that. Wow.
That's a commercial because we here do not have ad block.
We do not.
We do not.
There you go. You get some free Twitch ads.
That we're supporting J-Law's stream here. You know, keeping ad block off intentionally, of course, to make sure that he's appropriately compensated for his participation in the tournament today. Miller Lite, hashtag sponsored. Okay, here we go. What's he swapping over to? He's going for the Hand of Justice and the Shadow Reflector. It's off of cooldown now, so not sure what the referees have said.
It looks like we are doing a redraw. I just got a whisper from the admins. Apparently, J-Law did have his Rage Pot coming back up, so if he had been able to get back into the duel area, there was still reasonable course for him to win. And of course, there was no like deliberate resetting. He was trying his very best to get back in. So good faith on the side of J-Law will grant him a redraw here. Obviously, an unfortunate situation for both players. No one likes to get feared out of the duel area, but let's see if J-Law can make the most of it here in this redraw.
Absolutely. I will say that as a warrior, recklessness has not come back up for him. No Death Wish, obviously, being arms. So a lot of his cooldowns, I mean, I'd say the only one that might be back up for him is Intimidating Shout. I'm not sure if he used it in the previous duel regardless. So we'll see if this benefits him or not. Meanwhile, Improv, maybe he's got the Feldon back up. It's difficult to say. 5 minutes of cooldown time was granted between those two duels, and we see J-Law exploding, but he does get death coiled. He does use the Rage Potion as well, intercepting back in, expending all of his rage right there. Is it going to be enough? The grenade lands, but it doesn't matter. Dots break instantaneously. 22% is Improv. He's in range of execute, and he gets crit. Big execute damage coming out from J-Law, and Improv goes down. 2-0 for the Warrior.
Tips. He feared the pet, so he couldn't get sacked.
Yep, he feared the pet. It was so far away, he just wasn't able to get the sacrifice off. If he'd landed that sacrifice, I think the
All right, you guys are up. Just waiting a second. I need you guys to be nice to Bean, all right?
All right, so who's going first, opener wise?
Me? Rogue?
Valkor's opening first. Okay.
All right, I think they're ready.
So what happened there?
I mean, I kidneyed him out, and then
I was in
when
the.
he was
I was a kidney. I was out of the duel area. I was just typing. You didn't actually have to stop.
yeah, it's fine. We can win.
Like, do we restart? I don't know.
I don't know. Just take the. It's
One
fine.
second. Arthur there?
I'm just trying to. It's like you weren't feared out of the zone, so I'm trying to figure out why you guys are kind of just dancing in and out of the zone anyway.
So do I win if
Someone
I
drew him a
if I
kite.
keep him there?
That's fine.
That's a loss?
No, we need to talk.
Like I don't have anything now.
I don't have AGM or net either, or NS. Do we just go
Like
again?
30 minutes.
Let us give me a minute.
Okay. I mean, I can just take the loss because I was typing. He canceled Death Ray, so I was like typing he didn't have to stop. But I could have ran back in because he stopped. I don't know. Like he just stopped attacking. It was just weird. We can do other people's duels and come back? Can we do that?
I mean, I wouldn't mind. It's up to them.
All right, so we're gonna have you guys do your second duel, so it wouldn't be like you didn't have cooldowns anyway, and then
Okay.
we're gonna have you probably redo afterwards with everything.
But I get opener now, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And then in the reduel, Valkor will get the opener again.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Sorry, can you wait 20 seconds? I just swapped something.
Okay, sure. Ready?
Yeah, ready. duel.
You too, you too. I feel really dumb about the reset. What do we do? Just so I know what's going on.
How long? What cooldowns do you guys need up?
I need
That's on his
Spider's
end.
belt. That's 25 minutes.
25
For
minutes.
what?
Spider's belt.
Yeah, he needs spider belt. That's actually really big for him.
Let's just park you guys off to the side, and we'll keep going.
Just message DQT when your cooldowns are up.
Sure.
I'm gonna move you guys down.
Looks like both competitors have run back.
Ark said reduel later.
Reduel later.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
interesting.
gonna let them get their cooldowns back, I think, which I think is a reasonable, because that first duel is so reliant on cooldowns, especially from the rogue side. I think that's a reasonable call.
Sounds good. Can we get just real quick before we continue, guys? Can we get some hearts in the chat for our tournament admins? These guys are complete volunteers. They get nothing out of being here. They just do this out of the goodness of their own hearts, doing their best to just keep things rolling, keep things smooth for us in the tournament, enforce the rules. Just big shout out to them, Archivist and Antonica. They're doing a phenomenal job. They did a great job during the qualifiers, and they helped make things so smooth for us. So very, very much appreciated.
And I mean, moreover, like all the players, like there's so much prize money on the line for this tournament, right? So you can tell all the players are going to be fighting their case tooth and nail for, you know, when it comes to rule sets, when it comes to any administrative decision. So these guys really do have a handful to put on, not to anyone's fault, but they have a really tough job. So definitely hearts in the chat for them. They are doing fantastically well.
Absolutely. And one person I forgot to mention was DQT, the referee. Great player, amazing warrior. I've played with him for a long time, and he's just a phenomenal player, great ref. And again, just volunteering his weekend. The guy's married, he's got kids, and he's doing what he can to help out the community today. So very much appreciated. Love you, DQT. Really appreciate it. Thank you for not enjoying Major Domo Chest Week 1 of Classic Launch. And here we go. Mage versus Shaman. Venruki versus Zane. Nick's laughing at that one. He knows the inside joke there. But here we go. Healing Stat, you were looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this is a really fun duel. So basically for Zane, you were talking about it against Bean. We want to see those massive chain lightnings, especially the elemental mastery, whether he can get the one-shot damage onto Venruki. For Venruki, he's got to really respect that all in. If he can get an ice block on the elemental mastery or something like that, it's going to be absolutely huge for him. And in terms of the kind of long game as well, Venruki, he can land a counterspell at a good time. He can easily one-shot Zane, but Zane does have a fair bit of off-healing as well for himself. So this is going to be a really fascinating duel, and the stakes for both these players are so high since neither of them have really kind of got off the run with an incredibly, you know, they've both had really tough duels so far in today's bracket.
Absolutely. Both these competitors need the W, and they know it. Zane going with the cheeky Skull of Impending Doom at the start of the duel to prevent that polymorph. So great foresight by him, understanding the matchup, knowing what he has to do to stay alive here. Goes for the lesser healing wave. The grenade does come off, but Ven looks like he's hesitating. Goes for the polymorph. Is it Skulled? It is not. So that's a full duration polymorph. Great foresight there by Ven to bait out the Skull, or at least to prevent it from being cast. And now Ven, the Cone of Cold, does hit. Zane slowly lumbering towards the mage, who has no dots on him, is able to recover, but so is Zane. They trade off the bandages there.
I'm here, sorry.
It looks
So you're the last duel of the day, I believe, against the shot. How long do you need cooldowns to do a proper reduel if we
AGM is
redo
my
you
longest
and-
cooldown. 30 minutes that I use versus a rogue.
Do you use it against the shaman?
Yes. Yes, I do. Especially this shaman.
So the rules say a reduel will take 5 minutes, but we're trying to figure out.
It's just a really bad situation where I just dumb mistakes.
Yeah, I think it's a bad situation overall. Like, you weren't like feared out, but
I could have ran back in, but the thing is, the fact that he stopped his death ray, I was like, well, I started typing. You didn't need to stop. I just
I had
felt
blind still, but like
still had
it's not like I
blind.
was gonna stop you up there, but like I don't know
I think
what to
Valcor
do in that
recognized you
situation.
were out, and I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what to
If
do
he
here.
blinded me out of that kidney, the duel, yeah, I would have fled. And the reason
No,
I
I
ran
wouldn't have
out
like
was
done
because
it on purpose, because like I don't know what to do in that situation.
yeah, it's a really dumb situation. I don't know, because I
No, it's
figured a
kind of
blind
like
was coming. So I was just basically saying like, this is gonna be a reset. If he does what I think he's going to do, kidney into blind, I'm gonna get feared out or blinded out. The thing is, I just hit the outside. I was gonna try and run back in, but that's just right where he hit the kidney. It happens with druids being such a kiting class.
It's just hard right now. Like we can't have you reduel right now because it'll mess up further duel cooldowns.
But he wants to save his long cooldown, which would be after the last duel. We'd be sitting here, kind of just. We can't have the show like sit for like a half hour. But
Yeah,
if we have you guys do it now, then you end up screwing up cooldowns for the other matches that you guys have.
I can I can just go against the shaman and not use AGM. It helps a lot, but I'm happy to, if I have to pick between the two as to which one to use AGM, I just won't use it versus shaman.
Okay. I'm kind of getting close to erring in favor of Valcor for this, just
Okay.
because. But yeah, I'm okay with doing a reduel if we can if we don't hold up the show.
So I mean, if we do it at the end, you're talking about after Soda and Zane. I mean, that 50-minute cooldown will probably be up, assuming we have how many matches left, right? Like.
Yeah, otherwise we'll have to take this on like afterwards. Like you guys will have to do it off stream or something.
It's whatever you guys pick. It's you guys are admins. It's whatever.
We can always see what the time's left at the end.
I mean, like that duel, I don't know where it was going to go. It actually legitimately was going to depend on how hard that death ray hit.
That's fair.
That's literally what was going to decide that duel from there, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't feel like the duel was that close. Like it wasn't like it was decided or anything either. It was just range. All right. Let me think about it a bit. I'll let you know, but just I'm leaning towards if you guys do a reduel, it'd be at the end of the day. I just need to know where you are with your cooldowns.
Sure.
All right. Thanks.
Tim, Miss, who won the second duel for you guys?
Soda.
Okay. Thank you.
Just so I know, Valcor, I just need to know: were you gonna blind out of that kidney? Was that your plan?
I mean, I don't know. It depends how much damage this death ray is gonna do, and like, if I knew you weren't out of zone, kind of different completely.
Well, if I didn't
don't
type
know.
anything, I don't think you would have known I was out of the zone. I hate
I think I
duelers.
hit it too when I got to you. Not sure. But like, I wouldn't know what to do in that situation if the countdown. You're like already so low.
I hate this game.
It's fine.
here with a fire blast. Big damage coming out from Venruki. Kona Cold into the bomb, into the battle chicken. The bomb gets CC though. Is it gonna hit Zane or not? It does. That's around 300 damage there. Nice play there by Venruki. The Goblin Dispenser bomb. Big shout out to Mario. Anyways, Zane healing right back up though. He's ready to respond now. He's found his composure. He's found his lightning bolts. Are they going to hit? Not much, unfortunately. Both competitors now low on mana. Grounding Totem dispelled quickly by Venruki. Zane going for the first aid. It gets interrupted by the rank 1 Frostbolt. Second rank 1 Frostbolt. Earthshock comes out onto Venruki. It's not going to matter, however. Did not hit. Great fake there by Venruki. Great kill. The Grounding Totem once again into the nade. Into the Frostbolt. Is going to finish it off with a Kona Cold. Not enough damage. And now Venruki forced to reset. He's going to try to get as much distance as he can. No, he's just going to man mode it. He's going hard. He's a BlizzCon champion. He lives to win. He lives for the big crits. Does he get one? Here's the Frostbolt. Is it going to finish it off? No. Rank 1 Frostbolt. Now Venruki understands he has to reset here. Goes for the bandage. Goes for the reset. Calm and collected. Oh my god, no. He's actually trying to end this right now. Barely any mana for Venruki, but he doesn't want to give up his advantage. He knows Zane can regen effectively. And there's the polymorph.
Yeah, that's really nice from Venruki. So basically, he knows he can't get the kill, but equally he can't let Zane get full mana. So he's just going to keep him in combat until the Polymorph DR comes off, and now he can go for that reset on his own terms. Zane's still low on mana, Venruki able to heal up and get mana from this advantage, but Zane's still not out of this fight yet. It was so close between the two. I mean, Zane almost died. I think he resisted a Frostbolt at the very end there. Maybe it would have been enough damage otherwise. Venruki still pretty close to winning this one. 2,700 mana on him. It is enough to kill the Shaman as the counterspell comes through, and he's once again pushing for that kill.
But Zane lands the grenade, and he's equipped that Skull of Impending Doom, so he's using this time to recover, and he's got that ace in the hole if he needs it. If he sees the Polymorph cast, he can immediately pop that Skull to break out. I'm not sure if Ven sees it, and the grenade gets resisted by Ven, so Zane in a great position here. He's low on mana, but he gets the Earthshock out, and now Venruki's in big trouble. You know he's going to go for the Polymorph reset. No, instead he goes for the bandages, unleashes the Dragonling onto Zane, who makes quick work of it, and is going to take the time to reset here once again. Respecting his opponent is Zane. He knows he's at a disadvantage here right now, but he still has that skull equipped. He's ready for that big polymorph breakout if he needs it. But Venruki just able to out DPS him at every turn.
Yeah, I mean, Venruki's just got such a lead here. Zane's struggling to find anything in this game. He has no mana left to work with, and Venruki is just slowly whittling him down. But Venruki also struggling for mana at this moment in time. There's the counter spell to deny any grounding totems or anything like that from Zane. Zane actually, he uses the Dark Rune there to get a bit of mana, almost killing himself in game, of course, but not quite able to do that. So now he's got the advantage in this one. He has a little bit of mana. He's drinking. The pets are going after Venruki. And this is perfect. These pets are going to keep Venruki from drinking. Meanwhile, look at Zane. He's getting a full reset here. This is perfect for the Shaman. Really nice plays there, using that pet to get an ideal reset for him. And now he's the one pushing to find an advantage on Venruki.
Say what you want about Zane, you cannot say he's not playing this well. He's doing a great job. Does he pop the skull? He does! He's about to break out of this polymorph into the immediate Earthshock. Great skull there by Zane. Is he going to be able to get the damage he needs, though? Venruki completely out of mana. Earthshock by Zane. Lightning Bolt by Zane. Venruki pops the Whipperoo too, but does he get the polymorph off? He does, but it's on DR. Evocation coming off cooldown for Venruki. Zane, is he going to be able to finish this off? Ven just charging back up. Pops the polymorph one more time. Again, on DR. Zane's going to break out any second now. Grounding Tome did not go out in time to ground that polymorph. It was batched. So unfortunately there for Zane. Venruki eating and drinking back up is able to recover. Great sequence of events there for Zane, but the Grounding Totem batching unfortunately just didn't work out in his favor there. He did get polyed, and now he's at a disadvantage once again in the mana game. But his HP is doing all right. He knows he can dampen Venruki here if he needs to. No Skull of Impending Doom to rely on, though, as he gets the first aid tick into the Lightning Bolt. And now we see Zane just lumbering across the battlefield, throws the grenade. It looks like it whiffs. And now Zane polymorphed back up. Venruki, no DR on this one. He's able to recover, and he knows it. Advantage to Venruki.
Yeah, it's so nice from Venruki. I mean, Zane, he has these little windows where he can try win the game. And that actually, the polymorph does break a little bit early there. Venruki not anticipating that, meaning that Zane's actually going to get a couple of ticks of mana using the grounding totem as protection. He's able to get up to 1,000 mana once again. The polymorph comes through, but it is DR'd here. So Venruki using that DR to try get aggressive. He has 2,000 mana to try finish the draw. I'm not sure it's going to be enough here, though, as once again, Zane is in a good position. Venruki's still low on health. He's used his evocation, does have access to at least one ice block, but beyond that, he doesn't have too much to actually help him finish the duel. He's even using the nades defensively, and this is still such a close duel and such high stakes in this one. The winner, of course, definitely going to help them significantly in getting through to the grand finals.
Absolutely. These men both know they need this win bad. Both sides. Rocky start to the tournament. Zane with a huge Earth Shock just ends it.
Well, that'll do it. That's why I like watching Shaman duels. That was absolutely incredible. Zane finds the shot crit, finds the kill, and Venruki, obviously, that's going to be another 1-1 for him there. But Zane, he had to play an incredibly good duel to stay in that one. It's so hard when the mage is constantly going for those polymorph resets, getting mana after mana. Zane has to play so conservatively, and he did a fantastic job to win that one. I mean, huge props to him, because I think that is a really tough duel to win from some of the situations he was in.
Thanos Rookie here, all things in balance, 1-1 in pretty much every matchup today so far. Going back here on the scoreboard just to make sure that's correct. 1-1 versus Zane, 1-1 versus I Dared You, 1-1 versus Bean, 0-2 to Soda Poppin', but 1-1 to Improv. So Venruki just keeping things in balance. But it's time for the end game, and he knows it. He's got 2 matchups left today, a Rogue matchup and a Warrior matchup, both of which should be in his advantage. But again, the new change to Warrior duels, free action potion resto pots are allowed to be used by Warriors. That could mix things up a little bit. We'll have to find out. But in the meantime, we have our next duel of the day, Bean versus I Dared You.
Yeah, so this is going to be a good duel. I Dared You, obviously, we've talked about it a couple of times. He's had a pretty slow start here to the day's proceedings, but this is a matchup where he's heavily advantaged. The Shadow Priest oftentimes will find a 2-0 against the Hunter here, so Bean, eyes on him. How is he going to play this one out? If he can do a really good job at his kiting, get those resets, get the mana drain on the Shadow Priest, that's kind of how he looks to win this one. But I Dared You, he just needs to keep running at Bean, get that damage going, and if he can find enough of it, he will win the duel quite quickly.
I will say, great adjustment here by I Dared You. He's been watching this tournament closely. Equips the Gnomish Rocket Boots, understanding Bean's strategy of kiting to the 40-yard line. He puts the Rocket Boots on because he knows Bean's going to try to kite him. And Bean, to reciprocate, to retaliate to that strategy change, has equipped a Spider Belt to block off any snaring effects like the Gnomish Net that's been equipped by I Dared You. So both of these competitors, very smart, understanding the strategy they need to employ here, but we'll see which one of them is able to execute said strategy. Duel is about to get underway here momentarily. Both competitors at the 10-yard line, it's 20-yard distance between both of them, and it looks like things are about to get going. Here we go. Power Word Shield popped by I Dared You during the countdown. Bean about to open up. Immediate Shadow or Pain from I Dared You. Concussive Shot. Imp Concussive Shot goes off into the Viper Sting. And there's Bean's trademark strategy. But I Dared You immediately with the Rocket Boots. Chasing Bean down. He gets the Goblin Mortar right away into the Psychic Scream. This is a great start for I Dared You. Gets the Mind Blast off. And there's the second Power Word Shield. Viper Sting still ticking. Improved wing clip helping Bean there to get the distance once again. And that's a burned Rocket Boots for I Dared You, and he knows it. He was able to get back into range here. No Shadow Word Pain on Bean ticking. So he's able to get a couple of first aid procs off. In the meantime, Concussive Shot immediately freezing trap. Is he going to get a proc? No, he doesn't. So I Dared You slowly lumbering towards Bean right now. Snickers just all over him. There's the Goblin Mortar coming out from Bean. He's at the edge of the duel line, so now he has to be careful. Has to circle back around. No, he charges directly into melee range. Goes for the trap. No DR. I'm sorry, no DR on that trap because no scatter was used. So great play there by Bean, but the trap breaks early. Goblin Martyr whiffed the second time by I Dared You. Now he's completely out of mana, and he's just getting hit, and he knows he's not even moving at this point. He knows it's over, and it looks like he's going to forfeit this duel.
Yeah, that was insane from Bean. It looked like at the start, I Dared You had the perfect preparation. He got the boots on top of him, he used the mortar. He didn't hit the nade, but the mortar was enough that he literally got into melee range, got the full fear on Bean, and at that point you think, that's GG, the Shadow Priest has won it, but Bean able to fight his way back into that, he finds the trap, there was no Shadow of Pain to deny the first aid, and I mean, again, for Hunter, even winning a single duel against the Shadow Priest is absolutely fantastic result here, and considering that I Dared You committed all of his mobility cooldowns there, I even think he's got a decent shot at the 2-0 based on how that duel went.
Absolutely. We'll see if he's able to pull it off. Just going through Bean's spec real quick, going heavy into the survival tree, has counterattack, 5 points into survivalist for the 10% extra HP, and the entrapment. This is so key. We haven't seen it really proc for him just yet, but I know it's a little bit cut off there on the screen. It gives your immolation trap, frost trap, and explosive trap a 15% chance to entrap the target, preventing them from moving for 5 seconds. So we haven't seen it in this duel so far. We saw it earlier today at the start of the day. But yeah, we'll see if Bean gets selected with any entrapment procs here. Is able to finish off I Dared You, who again, it's very unfortunate. It just...
Someone talk?
Oh, it might have been me on accident, my bad.
Okay, no problem.
Don't want to play. Does he get lucky with a blackout proc? He's got the Mind Flame, the Shadow Word Pain ticking, but he's completely out of mana. Scatters the blackout proc, does Bean. Great predict there by Bean, who goes for the nade. It does get resisted. Viper Sting on I Dared You. Bean low on HP, Shadow Word Pain ticking him away, but the improved concussive shot keeping I Dared You stunned at a distance. The RNG gods are just favoring Bean here in this duel. Wand goes off, Shadow Word Pain ticking away. He's going to be able to recover. It ends.
He's so low on health though, he's at 3%, he's going for the food. Does I Dared You have the mana to finish him off? He's down to 8%, the scatter comes through. He's actually going to get the trap here, I think he's going to get the reset. That is absolutely incredible for Bean. If this trap doesn't break early, it will be the match in favor of Bean. It doesn't look like Shadow of Pain range is enough. He has inner focus, he has inner fire up right now, meaning that I Dared You has one free spell. He'd love to use it on something aggressive, but it looks like he's going to have to use it on the shield. Bean has played this perfectly, another super close duel, but the nade comes through. The Shadow of Pain, I Dared You dies first, and Bean takes a 2-0 against Shadow Priest.
Bean just played that so well. A little bit of RNG in his favor, but he just played that so well. The master of the kite is Bean, and I Dared You. You could see his frustration typing OMG in the chat, just so frustrated, not able to close the distance he wanted to. He got trapped when he didn't want to get trapped, and ultimately he drops that duel. And that is just the latest in many duels that I Dared You has unfortunately dropped today. Came out so strong in the qualifiers, but struggling a little bit today. He has two more matchups to get through as we finish off the 5th round of duels today. We've got 2 more sets left between these competitors. Oh, just so frustrating as a Shadow Priest, but hey, they did really well during the qualifiers. This ain't the qualifiers anymore. This is the regular season. This is where the big dogs play, and I Dared You is getting a taste of that doggy chow.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling a little bit. One of the things, though, we should note, for those of you who are a little curious about the format, this isn't all the games these players will play. So at the start, I think it was Thursday, right, Tips, where we divided the groups into 2. This is just the first half of Group 1. So all of these players will feature again next week, and in 2 weeks from now, they will play against some of the other people from Group 1. So even if you do get a slow start, they've definitely still got a good fighting chance in this tournament. But obviously all these duels count, and especially for someone like Bean, when he's got such stiff competition with people like Bruce Wayne in his bracket, every single one of these wins is adding up for him. So really, really nice stuff coming in, and all these players now have 2 more opponents left to face. And looking at some of the matchups in this next round, one of the things that's going to be particularly interesting, and Tips, you obviously have a lot of say on this duel, is the Warrior versus the Mage, since the Warrior does have a few adjustments that they're allowed to use in this compared to the qualifiers.
Absolutely. This is one of the matches that I've been looking forward to all week. Warrior versus Mage with pots allowed on the Warrior side of things. This duel could get really exciting really, really fast. And J-Law's got a lot of options here. You can see he's equipped a Spider Belt and Ornate Boots. I'm sorry, he goes for the Rocket Boots instead, which tells me that he's probably going for the free action potion. Not entirely sure. The spider belt indicates he might go for the resto pot. Resto pot dispels effects every 5 seconds, so it's a great way to counter polymorph when that gets cast on you. Reaction potion obviously makes you immune to movement and parrying effects, but does not affect polymorph, so you can still get polyed in a FAP. So does he FAP? Does he resto pot? Difficult to say, and he's got something really interesting. He's got a gnomish cloaking device on as well, so he's just pulling out all the stops here, all the tricks. Curious to see how he handles this. Personally, I would probably go for the FAP if you're able to reliably interrupt that polymorph cast. But I've been dueling Venruki earlier this week, and the guy knows how this matchup works. He's so good at faking and juking polys. He knows how to get that cast off when he needs it. So if I was Jayla, I'd probably go for the resto pot play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what J-Law ends up opting for. I mean, this is the first time we've really seen this matchup play out with all of those pots available on stream, at least. So I'm really interested to see how J-Law ends up playing this one. The Gnomish Invisibility Cloak is a very long cooldown, so if J-Law commits it to this duel, it means he has absolute confidence in his ability to pick up a duel here against Venruki, trying to throw a little bit of a curveball with that. Let's see how it plays out. Honestly, Venruki, I think he's one of the smartest mages when it comes to strategy in these duels. It's going to be difficult to kind of outwit him for J-Law, but, you know, the guy's got Hand of Ragaros. Maybe he can just kind of brute force it as well.
Absolutely. That Hand of Rag so strong in phase 1, especially against cloth wearers. Venruki popping the mana shield, ready to pop the ice armor as well, the ice barrier as well as things get underway. There's the charge into an immediate hamstring. J-Law, does he pop the resto pop? He does not. So he saves up here. He knows he was going to get polyed right off the start. Doesn't use any potions just yet. The polymorph does go off, and now Venruki, prove counterspell, reapplying the sheep, doing what he can.
He actually does have the restoration pot up, and what Venruki's using, he's using the detect magic and the counterspell to protect the polymorph from that. So that was really smart from Venruki, and more importantly, now that means that J-Law's used his pot for this duel, right? It's going to be on cooldown for the rest of the duel.
Actually huge by Venruki there, using trash buffs essentially to prevent the resto pot from dispelling the polymorph. Freaking 5-head plays there by Venruki. We'll see if we can change some buff settings to show those pots come up on top of the competitors as well. And now J-Law's in huge trouble. This is basically the typical Warrior v Mage all over again. What? Are you kidding me?
What?
Oh my god!
What was that?
Venruki was winning that the entire time. J-Law reaches him for 1 second and blows him up, deletes his account. What damage is this from J-Law? Absolute legend on the Warrior. I was ready to count that out. Like, I was like, oh yeah, very well played by Venruki. Beautiful plays playing around the restoration pot. J-Law, holy.
Was a over 1,500 heroic strike and 500 whirlwind back to back, deleting Venruki there. You can see he's got 3.8k HP, essentially doing 60% of his damage in a single global. And here we go. These competitors, they're hot and heavy. They're ready to go. Both just wanting the victory in this duel so badly. J-Law versus Venruki. I'm not sure if J-Law's pot cooldown is back up. It might be, but there it is. There's the trash buffs going out onto J-Law to prevent the dispel from happening. You can see resto pot. Doesn't matter. Polymorph breaks off. Frostbolt's going in by Venruki. Frostbite. J-Law stuck in place. Warrior versus Mage all over again, but I've got to say, you can never count J-Law out. The guy just took a win off of one of the best mages in the world. We'll see if he's able to reproduce that success here. There's the intercept into an immediate blink, and you can see that Hand of Rag just chunking through the mana shield and chunking through Venruki's life. But no closers left for J-Law right here. He's going to lumber back to range. Doesn't matter if he loses. This guy's on cloud 9. He just took a win off of a mage, something that most warriors are going to struggle to do with in the next rounds. So this guy's feeling like $1 million right now.
Oh yeah, not only any mage, he literally just took a win off of Venruki. That is insane. I mean, obviously a little bit of good fortune with the procs and the crits and everything, but still, that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, all that matters is the scoreboard, the points that these warriors are able to accrue. So J-Law, again, fantastic 1-1 here. Venruki 1-1 as well, and he's going to be really disappointed with that, I think, because he actually played those duels really, really well. He just maybe overestimated himself a little bit at the very end of that first duel, giving J-Law an opening. and ultimately that's going to cost him as we do go into the final duels for those guys later on.
One more matchup for Venruki today, him versus Valkor the Rogue. But for now, the Venruki, the Ven 1-1 Rookie meme continues as he goes 1-1 with J-Law. No disrespect meant at all. Venruki, one of the greatest WoW players. 1-1 Rookie meme continues as he goes 1-1 with J-Law. No disrespect meant at all. Venruki, one of the greatest WoW players to ever exist. But so many great duels so far. So many expectations get defied. So many favorites fall out of favoritism. So many underdogs and dark horses rise up to the occasion. And speaking of those dark horses, we've got Valkor versus Bean. His streak today. Big damage coming out of that kidney into the immediate line. And now Valkor just waiting to open back up. There's the cheap shot off of DR onto Bean. Into the big eviscerate. Bean's in huge trouble here. He pops the Whipperoo tumor. Crippling poison onto Bean. He's not going to be able to kite away. The grenade lands as well. Counterattack though. So Valkor is stuck in place. A huge Raptor Strike damage coming out from Bean. Crazy Raptor Strike crit. And now being able to get some distance. Gets the first aid off. Valkor is trapped. And oh no. We've seen this time and time again. And we'll see it one more time. Bean gets the range. He desperately seeks out. And he takes down Valkor.
Really nice there from Bean. He had to play that very smart because Valkor used all his pets to try eat the scatter trap off of himself. So Bean outweighted that. He even got unlucky. I think the nade actually got resisted by the Orc Rogue as well. So one of the advantages for Valkor is that he's playing Orc in this matchup, whereas Bean is playing Troll. So he's got far less chance to resist the nades on the side of Bean. But despite that, he waited with the scatter, the counter attack. He got the trap eventually and was able to win that.
So lucky, holy mother.
Absolutely, and we see Bean here adjusting to his opponent, popping the Heart of Noxian, which will be used to remove one poison effect, as well as the Mark of Resolution. So he's a little bit tankier, a little bit more versatile this next duel. He's going to be able to get out of the crippling poison if he needs to. And Valkor now, let's see what he swaps over to for this duel, using the pets in the first round, going for the Ice Reflector and the Gnomish Death Ray. We'll see if Valkor is able to bust out the big play and get a reflect on that Frost Trap. Valkor, Gnomish Death Ray. This guy basically pioneered it in the qualifiers on the Rogue. We thought it was a meme at first, but he exploded with that Death Ray in his duels during the qualifiers. We'll see if he's able to explode again today on Bean. Gets the blind off once again, so prep has been used. There's the Vanish. Cheap shot. Goes for the improved gouge into the Gnomish Death Ray. Is it going to crit? Are we going to get big damage here coming out? Huge damage from the Cold Blood Abyss to follow it up. But now Valkor is scattered. He pops the trap, though. I'm sorry, he pops the reflector, but Bean, with the foresight to see the Ice Reflector popped, throws the grenade instead of immediately trapping. Great adjustment there by Bean. I can't undersell it. And here comes Valkor now. He's in total trouble, and he knows that this is basically the end of the line for him. He goes down. Bean just saw the Frost Reflect animation, immediately adjusts grenades instead of dropping the trap. 5-head by Bean, for sure.
I mean, this is when you know that we're lucky here on the stream. We have the best players in the world playing out. Valkor preemptively Frost reflects the scatter. That's a legendary play in itself, but Bean, the 5-head play, then uses the nade to outlast that, gets the trap, and moreover, I mean, the Gnomish Shrink Ray, Gnomish Death Ray rather, from Valkor has been a play that I think he's really made that a signature play for him. He's been the rogue using that trinket to the best of his ability. Almost one-shots Bean with that one, so really good plays on both sides. And I mean, that's why these duel tournaments are so fun to watch, and we as the community appreciate you putting them on, Tips, because I mean, you don't get to see plays like that in a day-to-day PvP, you know, like this is the best players in the world playing up against each other and putting on an absolute show for us here today.
Absolutely. And no, shout out to all the competitors for competing in these events. Can't do it without them. And of course, all the volunteers that work hard to make these events possible. Archivist, Antonica, DQT, Just Insane, all of the warlocks that are participating today to summon us around the world. We thank you guys so much. And just turned it over to Bean real quick. We saw a Pringles commercial there. Now I'm craving some Pringles. But just wanted to see Bean's reaction to all this. Looks like he has cam disabled, honoring his beloved cat Snickers, who passed away recently. You can see the tribute all over his stream right now. But yeah, shout out to Bean, who's been doing great this tournament so far, taking out the dark horse that was Valkor. And he's got one matchup left for the day. We'll see how well he does In the meantime, they're turning this back over. It looks like we've got a little bit of a break here. No, J-Log going head to...
Sorry,
Maybe
you
we're
guys
going to
are
replay
next. You
that.
guys
There's
wanna
one
come on
duel that
out?
we have to replay at some point today, right? I don't remember who it was between. Was it Soda Poppin and
Yeah, you
Valcor?
guys are up.
Maybe that one's going to play out. I'm not 100% sure.
I believe it was.
Me
but
and Valcor?
just ended.
No, I dare you and Soda.
Oh, it's me and Shadow Priest.
Did we just have a Zane and improv?
No.
Oh
No, wait, no.
shit. Sorry, hold on.
Okay.
Chance, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just ready to go. I'm just ready to get off.
Yeah, I'm ready. I want to go outside.
Dude, I got a headache. Like, I got like 2 hours of sleep, bro. I'm just like,
I'm looking at 4 hours.
you're looking at 4 hours?
Yeah.
Dude, I just like choked so hard this turning.
Dog, I'm literally drunk.
You're drunk right now?
Of course.
Oh, you're gonna clap me, watch.
We'll see.
Dude, I'm so triggered. The bean duel, dude, 3%. I thought there was gonna be one more tick left, so I was like ranging him, and it didn't go off, and then they got the.
That's unlucky. You did get a lucky blackouts done his scatter.
I did. That was an insanely lucky blackouts. Like, that was the only reason I would have won that duel, but.
You win some, you lose some. It's just.
Or you lose both, you know.
Wait, is it you and me? Are we actually going?
No, in improv.
Okay, so I leave. Okay.
Fantastic. But as you say, two of the players definitely in the danger zone right now are Improv and Zane, and they both have an opportunity here to pick up some much needed wins in this next duel.
Absolutely here. And we'll get back to the gameplay in just 1 second. But guys, before we do, I just want to say, like, once again, thank you to Healing Stat, who's been casting with me today, guys. Done a phenomenal job. It brings the professionalism to every cast he's a part of. If we can get one of the mods in the chat to link Healing Stat's stream, be very, very much appreciated. Guys, please follow Healing Stat. He competed in the qualifiers, a great priest in and of himself, and he's been phenomenal today on the casting side. Been having a blast casting with you today, Healing Stat. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And obviously, likewise for you. I think it's been a very fun cast so far. And I mean, this is the great thing, right? Like, with the CDL, it's not just a one-off tournament. There's so many of these games going on, so we're going to have some great casts, I think, over the rest of the season. It should be a lot of fun.
Definitely, man. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to our next duel. Zane versus Improv, Shaman versus Warlock. Both competitors getting near the end of the line for the duels today. They both desperately need to eke out a win, somehow, some way, by any means necessary. And we'll see how Zane is looking to rise up to the occasion right now. He's got the Shadow Reflector and the Goblin Mortar on immediate Curse of Tongues onto Zane from Improv. He tries to get the Frosting to get back into range of Improv, but he's not able to do so. Pops the Shadow Reflector trinket, so no Death Coil to come out. Trying to predict that Death Coil early, but now the Shadow Reflect is gone. And here comes Improv with the coil. It gets grounded! Huge grounding play by Zane, who's able to close back in. He's got dots ticking on him right now, taking a lot of damage here. Does he whip root? No, he does not.
That feels so bad. What an in-Zane play there with the grounding on the Death Coil. That one feels really rough though for the Shaman, because you make a play like that, you feel like you deserve a little bit more in the duel. He just didn't quite have enough energy left, I suppose. He just maybe you're right. Maybe he had the Whipper Tube up. If he'd managed to connect that and then connect a heal, it could have been a different story. But Improv, SL Warlock, very, very strong here and able to find the win.
It's just again, like you said, it tugs at your heartstrings. You see a play like that, you hope for a win, but didn't work out this time. That being said, Zane knows what he needs to do. He knows how to cover himself. He knows he needs to ground that Death Coil, follow it up with some damage. I'm curious as to why he was trying to stay in melee range as much as possible. Didn't get any spells really off that time, just a couple of shocks here and there. But we'll see if he adjusts this time around. Improv now, literally improvising in this duel, going for the nifty stopwatch. Seeing Zane's strategy of trying to get up in his melee range, he's going to try to get as much distance as he can. He's got the Ice Reflector on. He might pop that early. We'll see if he does. Try to reflect that Frost Shock and get the distance he needs to continue free casting. But here we go. Zane versus Improv. Warlock versus Shaman, the elements versus the shadows. And we see Improv here does get hit by the Frost Shock, pops the nifty stopwatch immediately, trying to keep that distance up. He has Curse of Tongues, Corruption ticking down Zane, and he gets the nade. Does he go into the Shadow Bolt? He does not. Instead opts for the Immolate. Looks like he gets resisted, however. And Shadowburn, though, does hit Zane. And meanwhile, Improv, just casting with impunity, can do whatever he wants, and he knows it. Fires off the Fear. It breaks almost instantaneously because the Tremor Totem, but there's the Death Coil, and there's the victory for Improv. 2-0ing Zane, who is just going insane right now, just dealing with this Warlock.
Yeah, really nice plays there, though, by Improv. Like, he landed the counterspell on Zane. I think that was kind of the end of the duel. He was about 30% health, and counterspell lasts such a long time if you land the lockout in Classic. So I believe is it 8 or 10 seconds of spell lockout? It's a very long time either way. That's going to be it for Zane, going 0-2 against the Warlock. And I mean, that really sucks for him because he's had a couple of good ones here. You know, he took a duel off of Venruki, but he would have really loved to have found a win against Improv due to Improv being a little bit lower geared than some of the other players in this tournament. But ultimately, clean games from Improv, able to take the result which you would expect from the SL Warlock.
Absolutely, and great, wins picked up by Improv there. He's got to be feeling good about himself right now. Slowly bouncing back. He has one more matchup for the day today. He's going to be going head-to-head with I Dared You in the Battle of Shadows. We'll see how both of those competitors do. Again, both those guys need wins desperately. That's going to be an exciting one to watch. But in the meantime, we've got a duel matchup that some people really like, some people really don't like. I thought it was amazing the last time we saw this when Soda Pop and dueled Bonnie. Today we're seeing Soda Pop and duel I Dared You, Druid versus Priest. Should be a really fun one to watch.
Yeah, this is a really interesting matchup. So Soda Poppin, we know how he likes to play. He likes to go for that kind of slow win. As the Druid, you don't really have any options because one of the reasons Druids aren't the strongest duelers is that they struggle to actually finish people off. They don't have a lot of burst damage. They just have good mana efficiency and a lot of consistent damage. So that's kind of what the Druid is playing for, that long game. As the Shadow Priest, you do have a crap ton of burst damage. You've got the Mind Blast that can hit hard. You've got Silence, Blackout procs, a lot of ways to finish the duel. So I Dared You is going to be going very aggressive in this duel, most likely, probably playing for high damage, trying to find those early kills on Soda Poppin. And for Soda Poppin, he needs to kind of play that max range and maybe try win the duel on mana against I Dared You. Either way, it should be a fun one to watch.
What? Are we fighting?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you good, buddy?
Soda Poppin.
I was pooping.
I told him.
Did you get it all out?
No.
Oh god, you're disgusting.
I actually didn't need to know the answer to that question.
You can just drop the dual flag whenever a chance. You ready? You just want me to accept?
Yeah, you can go whenever. I'm gonna open once you powered shield, so.
Yeah, go ahead. I just powered. a chance.
I'm waiting on cat for mana. I can't drink in cat, so it takes a sec. Reshield really quick when you can.
Yeah, I got it right here. Fuck me.
Kill me, resist. Fuck.
Go chance.
You good? Yeah, okay.
This guy's dancing right now. You know, he dropped a lot of matches today earlier on, dropping 2 to Valcor, dropping 2 earlier to I think it was to Bean as well. So
Yep.
It's been tough for him today, but he's been able to bounce back. He's got one more duel against Improv here. We'll see what's going to happen in that Battle of Shadows. But we got somebody coming back to the battlefield right now that we've all been cheering on all day, and that's J-Law with his Hand of Ragnaros. Totally misclicked the stream deck there, but it doesn't matter. Look at this mighty, mighty hunk of Tauren right here, ready to finish off the day strong. He's been doing so well today, taking a win off of a Frost Mage, and not just any Frost Mage, Venruki. And here he comes, getting ready to go head-to-head with Bean, who's been dominating the second half of today.
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really good duel between Bean and J-Law. And I mean, J-Law, I want to say every single time that he's going to go 0-2, but I can't. If I keep thinking it, then I don't know. He just hasn't ever been 0-2 by anyone. This has been looking fantastic for him. The scatter comes through on the counter shots, so really nice. That should be a full trap potentially here onto J-Law, being able to land that out of the nade. So this is still looking pretty good for the Hunter here as he goes for the reset.
Warrior versus Hunter. It's a tough matchup for a Warrior, but in phase 1, it's one of those that you can get a win if you play your cards correctly. And J-Law, ooh, nice gnomish cloaking device there by Bean. J-Law popping the demoralizing shout, trying to get him out of stealth, but instead opts to go for the safe play, gets a food tick back up. Bean exposing himself on the other side of the map in the improved concussive shot proc. Very unfortunate for J-Law. Bean is dancing up and down right now. He knows he's got him where he needs him. The Goblin Mortar to follow up. The big damage coming out from Bean, but there's the intercept. Mortal Strike. Huge damage coming out from J-Law. The Hand of Ragnaros proc and the execute takes down Bean.
J-Law, you legend! How does he keep finding these wins, Tips, every single time? It looks like he's down and out. You know, like, I'm already counting him out personally, but he just finds the wins. He finds the execute once again here. J-Law with a huge win against Bean, and I think he actually... I'm not 100% sure, but I think he was using the Frost Reflector in that duel, maybe, because it looked like that was the animation that went in when he went for the charge, denying a scatter trap from Bean, and at the end of that duel, he finds the kill once again. The Hand of Ragnaros, so much damage, and that is another huge win here for the Warrior.
J-Law laying down the law. I've got to say, this guy's the most exciting dueler I've seen all day today. He's just, every duel, he links to like every duel, he brings out something crazy. And maybe it's that Hand of Rag, maybe it's his outplays, but this guy just plays with personality. It's so fun to watch him every matchup. I just want to see the second duel. I can't wait.
Well, we're not going to have to wait much longer. The duel does start up, and it's an immediate Arena Grandmaster trinket from Bean at the start of this one. He's respecting the law here. He knows what J-Law can do. We've seen it time and time again today, but Bean able to kite away. He also uses the Shrink Ray here onto J-Law to reduce his damage and the net. So there's so many benefits for the Hunter here as he goes for the reset. So far, perfect duel for Bean.
Absolutely. He's got no hamstring on him, no snares whatsoever, so he can get as much range as he wants to. He's going to start with this concussive shot after this aim shot, unless the duel's already over, which it very well might be. J-Law looks like he's going to go down, goes for the nade. It's not enough. He goes down quickly, that duel.
Yeah, so very nicely played by Bean there, quickly wrapping up, and this is why J-Law keeps going 1-1. Like in the first duel, it looks like he's losing the whole time, and he has his cooldowns. He's able to maybe find that win, you know, maybe find a glimmer of hope. He did it against Venruki, he did it here against Bean. But in the second duel, once those cooldowns are down, you really do see the true potential of Warrior in these duels, which oftentimes isn't too great when getting kited by some of these classes. You were saying it earlier, Tips, that you were envious when Soda Poppin was getting melee attacks against the mage. J-Law definitely feels that in some of these duels as well.
Absolutely, and we see a little bit of trash talk coming out from both of these competitors. Back and forth. It looks like J-Law forgot to put on his ornate mithril boots, which forced him to eat that snare in totality. I am curious. I'd love to talk to J-Law after this tournament. I'm not sure if it's appropriate to do so, but wondering why he doesn't use the Horned Viking helm as often as some other warriors do. Would have been very, very useful there had he broke out of the net, Horned Viking helm, reset. It might have looked a little bit differently, but who am I to say? This guy's been performing absolutely out of his mind. He's been doing a great job today so far. And yeah, that's his last duel for the day. He takes another 1-1, but as a warrior, he's done so well. And we'll go back and recap the duels that have happened today at the very end. But we've got a matchup that so many people love. It's been deemed the most dynamic matchup in all of Classic WoW. Mage versus Rogue with all cooldowns up on both sides. So fun to watch. Can always go either way. Healing stat, what do you think, man? What's going to happen here?
Well, this is, as you say, it is such a dynamic duel, and the thing is, the first duel will impact the second duel heavily as well. It's how many cooldowns will both these players have to use. You know, for example, will Venruki have to use an ice block before the blind comes out? Stuff like that is going to be really important, but we see an immediate opener here from Valkor. He's actually just cheap shotting to build combo points here, so it looked like he was potentially going for something big, but this is his opener. There comes the stun, the damage over onto Venruki. He blinks out immediately, but the barriers are down. The mages aren't allowed to pre-barrier before the duel timer, so this is potentially a great opportunity for Valkor as he goes for the banish. He's going for big damage, trying to force out that first ice block.
It looks like the Frost Nova got resisted, which is unfortunate for Venruki, who blinks ahead, gets blinded immediately, ice blocks the blind, gets prep blinded right out of that ice block. The blind breaks early. Venruki with a Cone of Cold. No more blinds there for Valkor. He's got to be careful. He's expended some of his biggest cooldowns very early on. Frost Nova resisted again, and it looks like the Cone of Cold did not land. Big Cold World of Vis coming out from Valkor. Venruki, does he get the polymorph? He does. And now he's able to
Oh, but he
eviscerate. No,
skills
the
it.
Skull of Impending Doom from Valkor. He's all over Venruki, who breaks his second ice block and is now completely vulnerable. Ven 1-1 Rookie. Is it about to happen? We'll see. Gouge comes off from Valkor. Eviscerate comes off from Valkor. And Venruki goes down.
What a play from Valkor there. The Skull of Impending Doom on the Sheep. If that Sheep connects, that is GG. Valkor had already used his prep. He'd already used both Vanishes, both Blinds. He had no way back into that duel, but he finds the Skull of Impending Doom on the Sheep. Venruki ends up falling, and Valkor, once again, very impressive on the day. Another big win. But now, both teams, or both players, have no ice block, no preparation, no vanish. So this is going to be a very naked duel, which I think is going to help out Venruki a little bit going into the second match.
Absolutely, and you know, people in the chat are pointing it out, and it does suck. So many Frost Novas resisted there.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
brutal. Brutal for Venruki there, because if one of those Frost Novas connects as well, like Valkor would have had no way out of that after both the Vanishes were down. So definitely unlucky. With Cold Snap, I believe you do get a second Frost Nova, so it was literally Frost Nova resist, Cold Snap, Frost Nova resist. Very, very unfortunate there for Venruki. But on the flip side, what is fortunate is that Valkor did use a lot of his cooldowns there, so Venruki has an opportunity here to live up to that 1-1 reputation that he's kind of made for himself a little bit today.
Absolutely, and I will say Valkor's equipping Frost Resist gear for this duel. So Frost Resist on a Rogue coming in the clutch. So as much as it's RNG, you can't really blame Valkor as using the itemization in the game to his advantage, sacrificing crucial DPS stats for basically RNG-based stats, and it worked out for him in the first duel. See if it works out for him in the second duel. Net comes out onto Venruki. Does he get the polymorph off? No. 5-point kidney onto Venruki. He's in big trouble here. Ruptures off on Venruki. The net backfires on Venruki. RNGesus. Oh my god. So sad for Ven today. The Canadian just... not coming in the clutch. Unfortunately, he's RNGesus for Venruki, but he does get the polymorph off. The counter spell, and... here comes the big Frostbolt. If Venruki's going to recover, it's going to be now. The Frostbolt's resisted. The second Frostbolt's resisted. Does it get 3 in a row? No, the Frostbite proc does go off. Huge damage coming out onto Valkor. That Frost Resist gear just coming in the clutch for him today. And Venruki's almost out of mana. He still has a mana gem, however. There's the Rocket Boots popped by Valkor, trying to reset the duel and get a stealth off, but it doesn't matter. Frostbite, finally some RNG in favor of Venruki, but the Frostbolt's resisted again. A big one, though, does connect, and now Valkor, no sprint, but he gets the Vanish.
He gets a Vanish back. It comes back off cooldown, but he's immediately blizzarded out. Very well played by Venruki. Again, being adaptable on the fly, gets the counter spell on him, and the counter spell's used, of course, because it's the only way he can instantly keep Valkor in combat from that range, but it looks like he will win this, and I mean, this is the thing for the mage. Once the cooldowns are down for the rogue, it's so hard for him to win that duel, even with pretty good resists. And Valkor actually made some really nice plays in this duel as well. Venruki was running the Gnomish Invisibility Cloak. Valkor was able to nade that immediately, so some pretty good plays coming in from him, but Venruki obviously going to have a bit of an advantage there in the second duel, and that 1-1 definitely for Valkor is pretty, I think he would be pretty happy with that result.
Absolutely, and you know, Venruki ending off the day, that was his last duel of the day so far, going 1-1 with every single competitor, except I think there was one where he went to,
I think, yeah,
or Soda Poppin. He lost 0-2 to Soda Poppin, but every other matchup has been 1-1 for Venruki. Tough matchups for sure. Valkor with the Frost Resist gear. You know, I've heard a lot of people, a lot of competitors say that the resistance gear wasn't really worthwhile, sacrificing too many stats for it. But Valkor, you know, taking a chance on it, it worked out for him. Venruki getting unlucky with a lot of the RNG there. But overall, great performances by both competitors.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if this is indicative of future days as well, because I feel like Venruki played very, very well today. I don't think there was any duels where we were overly critical of his play or anything like that. He just had a really rough time, and maybe that's just how these brackets are going to be now. You know, we've got the best players of every single class playing the top 4 from the trials in the regular season now, and it's just tough. Like, the mages, they're getting these 1-1s. Maybe it's just going to be that way throughout tomorrow. You know, we've got players like Zico, we've got some really, really strong mages still to play in this competition. And I'm very curious to see, you know, it is at the end of the day a competition between the classes to see who qualifies to who are the top 2 of each. And it's going to be very, very tough, you can tell, over the next 3 weeks.
Exactly. At the end of the day, as much as the competitors are competing against the other classes, they're more so competing against their own class, you know, seeing how well everybody else does. Hypothetically, you know, a class with only 5 wins might find themselves first place in their class bracket, depending on how everybody else of their class performs as well. But speaking of the classes and performance, I Dared You and Improv both coming off of a great 2-0 sweep in their previous match. We'll see if they're able to continue here. Only one of them will. I Dared You gets the silence onto Improv. Immediate Mind Flay as well, just burning through Improv's HP. Doesn't matter if he's a Soul Link. He's absolutely torching this guy. Meanwhile, Improv trying to fight back over he can. Tries to get an Immolate off. He does not. He gets a Corruption off finally. His first dot of the duel so far. And now here comes the hard-casted Fear. Does it land? It does not. The Mind Blast lands over. No, there's the Fear finally at long last. And it's a great Fear. A great RNG there in favor of Improv as I Dared You is literally feared out to the very rim of the world. We'll see if he's able to get back into duel range in time. Meanwhile, Improv taking this opportunity to eat and drink back up. He's got to be careful here. Shadow Priests are so deadly in this spot. But Soul Link Warlocks... I mean, you know, Healing Staff. Firsthand, you know.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of survivability of their own, I think it's fair to say. So both these players are definitely struggling. It was a really good opener for I Dared You there, and I Dared You is actually running a very high shadow resistance build. I think he has roughly 200 shadow resistance in this set, so that's why it's hard for Improv to really get damage going, but it's still looking like he's the one struggling. The Fear actually resists there onto Improv, but the silence does not. I Dared You should have the damage to secure the kill on the Warlock here. Improv just a little bit lacking in gear. We've said it a couple of times today. Also lacking in a bit of RNG there as I Dared You is able to secure that first win.
That shadow resistance just coming in the clutch. You saw how long it took to get Improv to apply a single dot onto I Dared You. 21 shadow resistance, 17 shadow resistance. You know, shadow resistance legs, shadow resistance gloves. Plus he's got Anathema. I mean, just this guy came to duel Soul Link Warlocks, and he extends his current dueling streak to 3 after 2-0ing Soda Poppin', 1-0 right now onto Improv. We'll see if he's able to finish this day off on a good note after a rocky start and get 4 wins in a row.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what he's going for here, and I think that would be, you know, he's not out of it just yet. We still haven't seen any of the other Shadow Priests play, and maybe the other ones are also going to struggle a little bit more. Now that the competition is that much higher. And moreover, he has a lot more duels to play out in a couple of weeks' time. So I Dared You starting to really find his footing here. He is super prepared for this tournament. You know, you can see all the gear sets he brought against Valcor. He had 2 freezing bands, which is over 1,000 gold alone. Plus he had the entirety of the Dreadmist set to kind of try get fears and little crowd controls like that, min-maxing here, and also with the full shadow resistance set. So I Dared You super well prepared for this tournament, looking to see if he can end the day on a high, as you say, with a 2-0 against the Warlock.
Duel flag does go down and the duel commences. Immediate corruption stacking up onto I Dared You. Is he gonna get a Curse of Agony? Improv, he's in trouble here. The nade lands. Does he get the Psychic Scream? It looks like he does not go for it quite yet. Instead opts for the silence into the Mind Blast. I Dared You trying to pump Improv with whatever damage he can. Burning a bit of mana doing so. The Death Coil is not resisted. Finally some luck in favor of Improv, who's got the whole kit and caboodle just thrown at him. The Battle Chicken, the Dragonling. The dragons and the chickens are fighting each other instead of fighting the opponents. There's the Mithril Dragonling's Flame Breath onto Improv right now, as the pets do swap targets. An Enraged Chicken onto I Dared You, just torching through his HP right now. Meanwhile, Improv trying to follow up that damage with a nice Immolate. Does it go off? It does. Full dots now ticking onto I Dare You. That's an Immolate and a Corruption. Looks like Curse of Agony did not land thus far. I Dare You at 16% HP, half mana. Improv looks like he goes for the Shadow Ward there. He's going to try to finish this off if he can. Pops the Fell Hunter, going for the Dispels, going for the damage. No, goes for the Fear instead. It's over. Shadowburn finishes I Dared You off. Improv takes the second.
All right. Chance, you there?
Yep.
Hey, don't save any cooldowns for the next match. If you have to use everything, use it here.
Okie dokie. All right.
I have to do some more stuff with the review, but yeah, we'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay. Okay.
You guys are the last duel of the day, pending whatever we figure out. So, if you don't mind sticking around afterwards, appreciate it.
Mhm.
Wait, is it okay if we have the transformation, the savory deviate delight?
No, you don't use that.
Okay.
GG, boys.
Good duel.
Good duels. Hey, Chance, while you're here, I just finished review.
Mhm.
For now, I think we're gonna. I looked at the VOD, and I saw that there was that few seconds where I think you were typing instead of running in. So we're gonna rule in Valkor's favor for that duel. Just want to let you know there is an appeal process that you can try and go through to kind of make your case to like Tips and the others. But for today, we're gonna rule in Valkor's favor.
Okay, how do I do the appeal process?
I can get with you after the
'Kay.
tournament if that's okay. But yeah, we'll set it up.
Sure.
All right, thanks.
These are the results of day one of the CDL thus far. Healing stat, how do you feel about this, man?
Yeah, I mean, certainly I'm really happy for some of the players at the end. I think I Dared You, Improv, Soda Poppin', they got some big wins at the end of the day, which they needed. For Venruki as well, he started to pick up some games at the end there, which were good. So I'm very excited to see these players play again in 2 weeks. I did just hear from the admins as well that they've been reviewing this, and I want to give a huge shout out to the admins because they've done a really good job. We cannot underestimate, like it's very easy to say that the admins have an easy job. I can tell you from first-hand experience, I'm sure Tips can as well, that is not true. It's very tough. So hearts in the chat for the admins who are volunteering their time today. They reviewed the VOD between Soda and Valcor. They've been reviewing it extensively over the last couple of hours, and they did deem it that Soda maybe could have put more effort into getting back into the dual range. He didn't, run in from the very, very start. So they're actually going to give that in favor of Valcor on the grounds that in the rule set it says you have to put best effort to getting back into the dual area. So that is going to be all the series played out for today. Therefore, Soda Poppin' still takes the 1-1 against the Rogue, which is a perfectly reasonable scoreline for the Druid. And that is going to be all of our scores for today. So very, very nice from all the competitors. I think still the highlights for me, though, I got to say it, and maybe you agree with me, Tips. J-Law. Holy shit, that warrior. He played so good today.
He did an amazing job from start to finish, picking up 8 wins today, taking a win off of Venruki. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead. The final results of the day so far, guys. A full recap for you guys in case you missed it. I'm actually not sure why this isn't updating on this end. Give me 1 second, guys, to refresh this real quick, and we should be okay. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this real quick. Hopefully, you guys will be able to see everything updated. Feels bad, man. It is not. Instead, we'll just hop over here. All right, here we go. Final results for the day so far. 11 wins for Soda Poppin', 10 wins for Bean, 6 wins for Venruki. I Dared You at 4 wins overall. Valcor at 7 wins. Zane at 3 wins. Chance only has 9. Oh. Yeah, so we're just we're sorting out some technical difficulties here real quick. As we get squared away. Let's just count real quick. Your basic arithmetic, guys. 2 wins against Zane, 2 wins against Improv, +2 Chad, +2 wins against Venruki. 7, 6. We're at 6 so far. 6. 72 wins. What is it? Soda Poppin'.
Let's see. Alright, let's see how 5, 6, 7, 9 wins, right? I count 9. Does Chad agree? 9's pretty good for a Druid, I would say, out of 14. Like, we saw Druids being one of the lowest performers in the qualifiers, so if our math is correct, then Soda Poppin' is chilling kind of hard, I would say, out of day 1.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it looks like the reason for that miscalculation is... No, it's not that. It's not that, Chad, unfortunately. We'll get to the bottom of it right after we end the stream, but I just want to recap one more time. These are a little bit scuffed, but I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page, see if our administrators are able to fix things in that second time. Not quite, but I do think if Bean did have 10 wins, I think that leaves Venruki at 6. I think I Dared You's score might be wrong as well. but we'll see how it goes. But J-Law coming out with eight wins today, huge for Warrior.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, even if these scores are like a little bit off here and there, I think overall it kind of paints a picture of who did well in today's bracket. Soda Poppin, obviously, 9 wins on Druid, fantastic. Being on the Hunter as well, really, really good day for him. And Valcor, I think maybe he picked up more than 7. It certainly felt like he picked up around about the 9 area as well. So Valcor is definitely someone who I was pretty impressed by. J-Law as well. On the other side of people in the danger zone, I think Zane, Improv, Venruki perhaps didn't have the best day he could have, but again, maybe that's just a case of mages finding it really tough now that the competition is this stiff.
Absolutely. It just, more and more competition, tighter competition. It's so tough. It's so tough to keep your composure. It's so tough to stay focused. And, a lot of people were counting out Group 1, saying Group 2 was a lot more competitive. I'm not quite sure that's the case. We've seen some stellar performances, some great dark horses come out of Group 1 today. I'm very, very excited and looking forward to the next time Group 1 duels. Guys, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, Group 2 debuts with the first half of Group 2 going up. That's Matt, Cawthon Lunk, Zaryu, Toes, Peo, Sidu, Snuts, and Z-Tox. Going to be a very, very exciting set of duels tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Make sure you follow the stream to be notified when we go live. And before we go, guys, I just want to give a big shout out to the man of the hour sitting across from me right here to the right. That is NMP Nick Polom, without whom we would not have this.
The camera died.
Camera died. Oh, there. Yeah, I was going to say we wouldn't have this amazing production, but
perfect production, exactly.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. Good opportunity to run an ad. All right, here we go, guys. See you in a couple seconds. Okay.
Dude, thanks for the heads up. It lasted 3 hours though. Pog.
It did.
Pog.
And if you guys want to get a new camera for tips, there's always the beautiful Twitch Prime button to assist, because clearly this is one of those things we'll need a new camera each week.
I appreciate that, Healing Stat. Guys, if you're going to sub to anybody today, I would go over to Venruki's stream, give him some support, give him some love, give him that sub. Got a Twitch Prime lingering around. Or, of course, hang out with Healing Stat. Check him out, twitch.tv/HealingStat, right?
Yes, correct.
Twitch.tv/HealingStat. Give him your sub, give him your Prime. The guy's taken, the time out of his day to be with us today. Or check out the Safe Space every morning at 7 a.m. Central Time.
It's not very safe with Melina there, but come on down.
Absolutely not. It's scary. Believe me, it's very, very scary. But yeah, thank you, Nick, again for everything you've done. Provided the live environment for us. Helped me set up over the course of the past couple of days. Took me to Whataburger.
Twice.
I actually ordered some last night too.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You got 3 Whataburgers?
3 Whataburgers, dude.
Oh my god.
Oh, putting on the weight, man. But it's Texas, dude. You got to go big in Texas.
Oh my god, 3 Whataburgers. That's crazy.
I had a double meat last night too.
Oh, dude, you're living your best life.
Listen, man, you never know when it's going to happen again. It's the cause of the malding, of course, is the Whataburgers. But yeah, having a good time in Texas with Nick. Nick, do you have any shout outs? Anybody want to shout out?
I just want to, shout out, Melina for letting me, come on here. Usually she needs to be serviced this time of night, but she let me come on here, and is she okay, bud?
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine, yeah.
Thank you, Melina. Appreciate that. You're awesome. And other than that, shout out to you, Tips, Healing Stat, everyone who participated. Amazing job. Great casting. Tomorrow should be even more fun.
Absolutely. Somebody in the chat saying, hey, no interviews? I'm down to interview people. You down to interview people?
See what they got.
Healing Stat, you got some time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's bring some people on if anybody's around. Yo, tips out to Lizzie Punts. Thanks so much for Twitch Prime. I appreciate it. All right, if anybody's around for some interviews, I'm always down. It looks like Bean is chilling in the voice comm right now. Bean is our leaderboard leader for today. Head back over to that real quick. 10 wins. Soda Poppin's wins are miscalculated. So Bean is the leader at 10 wins today. Bean, are you there, buddy? Not quite.
All right, Bean, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, Bean.
Yo. Hello? Oh.
How you doing, buddy?
Dude, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, good. Chilling, having a good time. Why'd you cheat, Bean, okay? I told you
Dude.
before the day started,
Listen,
don't
listen,
cheat
it's
today.
an
You
SL
cheated.
Warlock, dude. How do you win without cheating? Let's be honest.
Oh,
No, I didn't mean to.
rude,
It's
that's
just
how I
like
got
the heat
ranked
of the
season
moment. I was
12.
like, I was running away from a fucking Voidwalker and like scattering, like, what trinket? I saw AGM up and I was just like, I have to. Like, I didn't. Okay, so I already unequipped my healing thing, so I didn't know that it was on cooldown because I don't see it on my bars anymore, right? So because I unequipped it, so I was getting chased by a Voidwalker, stressed out. All right, it's an SL Warlock. I look at my trinkets, I'm like, oh, AGM's up. Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah, it just happened.
Well, what would Gordon Ramsay say if he saw that? What would he call you, Bean?
Garbage, mate. Garbage.
He'd call you an idiot sandwich, I think, for that one.
Okay, true.
But yeah, very well done on the day. How do you feel about your results?
Good. I keep choking the Warriors, dude. It makes me sad. I would have felt so much better with 11, but yeah, overall, like, really good. Really hard, honestly.
That's good. That's good. You swept most of the bracket today, being, you know, that eight piece Giant Stalkers coming in handy. What would you say was the major difference today, your performance today versus your performance in the qualifiers? Which would you rate higher?
I think today is just like everyone. I mean, every week it just gets harder and harder, right? So it's like, you know, the qualifiers were just less gear people, like lesser skill wise, you know, and it was just easier. So I don't know, it's just getting harder and harder, like every week now.
Yeah, absolutely. The competition stiffens and it tightens. And despite that, though, you still come out on top. 10 wins today. Congratulations, Bean. Do you have anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to say before we head off?
Just the same thing as last time. You know, you guys were putting it on, commentating, doing everything. You know, 2 women in my life, my mom, girlfriend, and yeah, that's about it. And everyone watching me and watching the streams and stuff, supporting.
You do not have a girlfriend, brother. I refuse to
do.
believe it.
Tips, stop.
But we'll let him dream. You know, everybody's got to keep their dreams alive somehow. Congratulations to Bean. 10 wins on the day. Amazing performance in the first half of Group 1. Obviously, he's got to play the second half of Group 1, all the cross matches. But Bean, dude, great job today, man.
Thanks, bro. See ya.
Twitch.tv/Bean. If you guys want to check him out, I believe he's streaming right now on that Hunter. That is not the correct tab. That's the correct tab. No, that is also Soda Poppin'. What about this one? That is the wrong tab as well. We'll figure it out at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, shout out to Bean. Is there anybody else who wants to do an interview?
Yeah, are they all hanging? They're all in the hangout area, right? I would love to get J-Law in here after today.
Absolutely. I'm done with that.
Should we see Helo?
J-Law, Soda Poppin', Venruki, if he's still around. I saw he closed his stream.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey.
Who it is?
J-Law.
Yo, J-Law, what's up, man?
What's up?
How you doing, buddy?
Great.
Okay, okay, I'm just gonna turn it over to Healing Stack because I'm sure he's gonna say everything that I want to say, but just a lot better.
Yeah, I gotta say, J-Law, you played like a bloomin' legend today. How are you feeling after that performance?
Pretty good. Got 8 wins. It's pretty insane for Warrior. I had a few misplays, but it's fine.
Do you think, obviously since the qualifiers, you've improved your gear a lot, one of the big things being the Hand of Ragnaros. How's it feeling with the gear setup just being so much more powerful now?
Yeah, I have Onslaught, Girdle, Hand of Rag. It's pretty insane damage.
Yeah, we certainly saw that. There was a couple of duels today where I gotta say, we as the casters were counting you out. The Venruki duel, the Bean duel, both of those. Okay, Tips wasn't. I was.
No, that was Nick.
I'll take full responsibility. Nick as well.
Nick's your biggest fan.
Nick kept saying that he loses to everyone when he duels them as Warrior, so clearly you were doing something right, J-Law, today.
Yeah, like, I didn't even use Rex there. If I wrecked, he would have instantly ice blocked, and I would have lost probably, because you got really lucky.
Well, fortune favors the bold. I think Gandhi said that once, like that.
Whoever that is, yeah.
Miss Frizzle, maybe, from Magic School Bus. Whoever it was, J-Law, you performed so well. Do you have any tips for my friend here, Nick, who's new to Classic WoW? He's trying to make a name for himself in the community, you know. He's grinding the YouTube right now. on Twitch, you know what I mean, trying to climb the ladder. Do you have any tips for him?
Just run at people and hope you hit them hard.
Okay. Sounds good. I've been trying to do that, and I'll keep trying even harder now. Thank you.
Run at people and hit them hard. Those are the words of the safe space, and those are the words of J-Law, who, despite being an underdog, outperformed all expectations, picked up 8 wins today in the first half of Group 1 of the CDL regular season. Congratulations to you, J-Law. Do you have anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug? Twitch, Twitter, anything like that?
Just shout out to you guys for hosting the tourney. It's pretty fun.
Glad you enjoyed it, buddy. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks.
We've got a couple of more individuals that are around. If Valcor is around, if Venruki's around, if Soda Poppin' or Improv, right? If anybody's around, always more than welcome to chat with us right now. To be honest, we got nothing better to do with our day. We should probably go to Whataburger after this to celebrate.
If you eat Whataburger 4 times in a row, I'm going to lose it. There is no way you can eat Whataburger 4 meals in a row.
Guys, what do you think in the chat right now? Is it too much? Is it too much? I don't think there's such thing as too much Whataburger, man. Please don't. Take it easy, Disco, okay? Just take it easy. Do it. Yes. Do it. Thank you. Thank you. My fellow degenerates encouraging these horrible life habits. Thank you so much. Always depend on you guys for that. Do we have anybody that's coming up right now? It looks like we got Valcor joining us real quick.
How's it going?
Good, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
So, I guess your performance can be kind of dissected into 2 parts. There was your first half and your second half of the day.